Chapter 53:16. The scene in front of them caused countless people to exclaim. Ziyu and the others were in despair. Even the nine-star princess and the others took a deep breath. Lin Xian stood there with his hands behind his back. He looked at the scene in front of him, and a cold light appeared in his eyes. If Purple Star really couldn't hold on, he would make a move. However, he soon smiled because he knew that there was no need for him to make a move. In front of him, the 10 extremities starry sky had sealed the world. Chunmu laughed sinisterly. You want to fight me with just you alone? I'll refine you now. The starlight in the sky turned into starfire and began to refine Purple Star inside. In the 10 extremities starry sky, Purple Star indeed felt a sealing power. Blood dripped from the corner of his mouth. All the bones in his body were making cracking sounds. To be honest, he had indeed encountered the most dangerous moment. However, an extremely cold light burst out from his eyes. Galaxy Saber. At this moment, he suddenly shouted angrily, and the saber light on his body soared into the sky. He seemed to have turned into a peerless saber and rushed forward. He collided with the 10 extremities starry sky. With a clang, the two collided like thunder. And then the world shook. The 10 extremities starry sky was forcefully split open, and a figure rushed out. He slashed forward with irresistible force. With a slash, Chunmu was sent flying. A terrifying crack appeared on Chunmu's body, and his internal organs were exposed. His sacred blood turned into a sea of blood. This sudden change caused the surrounding people to be dumbfounded. How was that possible? The 10 extremities starry sky chart was broken. It was too unbelievable. That saber was too terrifying. Did he use the one with the saber? This Purple Star was incredible. The powerhouses who were watching the battle were also shocked. Purple Star stood there with a pale face. Although his body was stained with blood, the saber technique on his body was even more dazzling. I told you you're no match for me at all. Across the sea of blood, Chunmu gritted his teeth. His expression was ferocious. Damn it! His strongest ultimate skill had been broken by the other party? No, I don't believe it. I want you dead. He roared crazily. Why aren't you coming out? With a roar, the surrounding void shattered, and someone appeared in the distance and soared into the sky. Between heaven and earth, the phantoms of 10,000 snakes were roaring. They shattered the void. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. It was the Heavenly Snake Clan. Walking at the very front was a woman in colorful clothes. She was Kai Lingyi, a genius of the Heavenly Serpent Clan. On the other side, the sky was filled with frost, and a man walked out. Ice surrounded his body, sealing the world in ice. At the same time, dragon scales flickered. He was an expert of the Ice Dragon Clan. His strength was not any weaker than Kai Lingyi. This was obviously a young giant. Who would have thought that there would be 2 young giants behind Chunmu? The 9-star princess smiled bitterly. This was also the reason why she had lost. Even if she joined forces with Purple Star, it would still be difficult to resist these 3 people. 3 tycoon-level geniuses walked out and stared at Purple Star. This caused the void on the Purple Star's side to constantly shatter. The faces of Ziyu and the others turned ugly. Oh no, they were really worried now. Purple Star was indeed powerful, but being able to defeat Chunmu with her strength alone had shocked them. However, now that 2 young giants had appeared, things were different. Kai Lingyi walked out and said with a smile, "Young Master Purple Star, you're really lucky. You didn't die in the shocking battle 3 years ago. However, it's a pity that your good luck ends here. If you hide your identity from now on, you might still be able to live. However, you shouldn't have come back. There's no place for you on the 9-star immortal platform. Today, if you obediently submit to us, you might still be able to live. Otherwise, we can only send you to hell." The Ice Dragon Man sneered. "Humph, what's the point of talking nonsense with him? Just take him down. If you think it's a pity to kill him, you can make him our battle servant. There was a trace of ferocity in his eyes. This kid used to follow Lin Wuti, but so what? Lin Wuti had not appeared for 3 years. Perhaps he was seriously injured in the battle with Hun Tian and had died. At this point, he laughed proudly. The ice and snow in the sky became even more terrifying. The endless palaces below were all frozen, and even Ziyu and the others were covered in a thick layer of frost. You're no match for me at all. Will you have to fight me? Chenmu sneered again. Although his body was stained with blood, he looked like a demon. Looking at this scene, Purple Star shook his head and sighed. He looked at Chenmu and said coldly, "You will die without a doubt." He then looked at Kai Lingy. The Ice Dragon Man said coldly, "If the two of you kneel down and kowtow now, you might be able to live." As soon as he said that, the surrounding people were stunned. What kind of joke was this? Where did Purple Star get the courage to say such a thing? One had to know that there were 3 young giants in front of them. No matter how powerful Purple Star was, could he defeat them? He probably wouldn't even be able to escape with his life. Stupid thing. Who gave you the courage? Are you out of your mind? Someone like you dares to threaten us? The 3 of them were furious, and a terrifying killing intent appeared on their bodies. They joined forces and walked forward. In an instant, the sky fell and the earth cracked. Many people vomited blood and were sent flying. Purple Star's expression also changed, and the wounds on his body also split open. However, at this moment, a hand patted his shoulder and gave him a surge of strength. Then, a black-robed man walked forward. I gave him the courage. Lin Xian walked forward. He blocked the terrifying killing intent of the 3 people alone. The surrounding elders were all stunned. Who was this person? He was too strong. Why did it feel like he was even stronger than Purple Star? Ziyu, who was next to him, was excited. Great, Lin Gongzi has made a move. Elder, we're saved. With Lin Gongzi making a move, we definitely have hope. Purple Star also bowed, respectfully. Thank you for your trouble, young master. When the surrounding elders saw this scene, their pupils constricted. Could it be? They thought of a possibility, and then gasped. In front, Chenmu and the other 2 frowned again. They looked at the black-robed man who suddenly appeared in front of them with incomparably cold expressions. Who are you? How dare you interfere in our affairs? Do you want to die? Kneel down now and cripple your own arms. Get out, and I can spare your life. Spare my life? Lin Xian smiled. Those who dared to say such things to me have died 10,000 times. As for who I am, open your dog eyes wide and see clearly. Lin Xian's black robe fluttered, and the cloak split open, revealing a handsome face. In the next moment, the pupils of the 3 people in front shrank. Lin Wuti, it's you? You're not dead. The 3 young giants in front roared in horror. At this moment, their faces became incomparably pale, and their bodies trembled. Chapter 53:17. Lin Xian's appearance shocked everyone, especially Chenmu and the other 2 at the front. Their faces turned extremely ugly. Although they were confident and fearless, it didn't mean that they weren't afraid of Lin Xian. This was Lin Wuti. He was the supreme existence that killed the Double Crown King. How could they be his match? Damn it, retreat. They quickly retreated. The surrounding people were shocked. Lin Wuti had only shown his true face, but he had already scared off 3 young giants. Who could be a match for such terror? Lin Xian snorted coldly. Don't you think it's too late to leave now? The light of reincarnation appeared in his eyes and turned into a world of reincarnation, suppressing all 6 directions. Suddenly, the 3 of them were blocked. Get lost! Chenmu let out a furious roar as starlight shot out from his body. However, it was useless. They were all blocked. I don't believe it. Kai Ling turned into a heavenly snake and roared at the sky. Her body danced and tore the 9 heavens apart. However, she couldn't tear the world of reincarnation apart. On the other side, Ice Dragon was the same. He shot out ice and frost that filled the sky, turning it into an ice dragon, but it was trapped here. Damn it! The three of them roared crazily. Chunmu gritted his teeth and said, he was using the Rinnegan. It was a terrifying eye technique. However, with his soul power, he wouldn't be able to use it for long. As soon as he said that, the other two were relieved. They just needed to wait for the power of reincarnation to disappear, and they could fight their way out. However, Lin Xian made his move. He wouldn't give them any time to wait. Heavenly path of reincarnation. With a furious roar, a huge hand appeared in the sky and pressed down on the ground. Its target was Chunmu. Chunmu roared. 10 extremities starry sky map. In an instant, the surrounding space turned into a starry sky and sealed the hand of heaven above. The surrounding people were also shocked. Could this attack be blocked? They were still confident. After all, 10 extremities starry sky map was a peerless superpower. With one attack, the sky fell and the earth cracked. 10 extremities starry sky map shook and then fell apart. The giant hand of heaven fell from the sky and enveloped Chunmu. Chunmu's face was filled with despair. This was impossible. His 10 extremities starry sky chart was so terrifying that it could seal everything. But right now, under the gigantic hand of the heavens, he was completely powerless to resist. No, he became terrified and turned to flee. This was the power of a young supremacy. The gap between them was really too big. He was no match for him at all. Unfortunately, he could not escape at all. The hand of the heavens fell, and the heavenly path of reincarnation crushed him. His body turned into a bloody mist, and his soul was dissipated by the samsara. Dead. The surrounding people were dumbfounded by this scene. They couldn't believe it. That was a young magnate, and now he was killed in a single move. This Lin Wuti was too terrifying. No, young master. Chunmu's people screamed, crazily. Madam Purple Star, and the others clenched their fists. They saw hope. This was great. With Lin Wuti's help, he could sweep away everything in the world. The other two people, Kai Ling Yi and Ice Dragon Ranker, were scared out of their wits when they saw this scene. Even if the two of them were stronger than Chunmu, they were not much stronger. Chunmu was killed in a single move. Could they withstand it? Therefore, they fled crazily. Kai Ling Yi shouted angrily, and she turned into a heavenly snake. There was an extremely terrifying aura on it, as if an ancient demonic beast had been resurrected. He charged forward. With a boom, the laws shook, and multicolored light shone brightly. This attack could pierce through a star. However, it could not shake the world of reincarnation. Lin Xian stood in the void and looked at this scene with a cold expression. He said that you can't break the world of reincarnation. As he spoke, he walked forward. A Taiji diagram appeared in his hand, and it kept spinning, emitting terrifying power. Damn it! Kai Ling Yi shouted angrily. She turned into a heavenly snake and spat out terrifying poison. At the same time, she raised her tail high and slashed down. It was like a heavenly blade that could destroy everything. It charged towards Lin Xian. The tail was covered in black runes, which were highly toxic. Even the other young giants would definitely die if they were enveloped by it. That was the power of his bloodline. Boom! Lin Xian did not dodge at all. He waved the Taiji diagram to resist. The two collided, and a deafening sound was heard. This is great. Kai Ling Yi smiled. The people of the Sky Snake clan in the distance also snorted. Lin Wuti, you're too careless. Although you're powerful, can you withstand thousands of poisons? The poison of our heavenly snake princess is not something you can imagine. Even the divine ancestor would have to retreat, let alone you. In their opinion, Lin Xian was definitely poisoned. It was very likely that he was seriously injured. Next, they could make their move. In the poisonous fog in front of them, the Taiji diagram kept spinning, turning into yin and yang, and tearing everything apart. Lin Xian walked out, unharmed. How was that possible? The eyes of the people of the Sky Snake clan almost popped out. Even Kai Ling's pupils constricted. Impossible! Her Sky Snake poison, which could threaten the divine ancestor, was useless? Lin Xian snorted coldly. He held the Taiji diagram in his hand, and all the poisons in the sky were sealed in the Taiji diagram. It could not hurt him at all. In the next moment, he threw out the Taiji diagram, which turned into a piercing ray of light. Taiji slash. Like a bolt of lightning, it charged toward the Sky Snake clan. Kai Ling tried her best to dodge. Her body circled, forming the strongest defense. However, it was of no use. The attack landed directly on its weak spot. She screamed miserably as her body was instantly torn apart. That was her vital point. It was her most fatal point. That attack made her hover between life and death. Not only that, but the Taiji diagram also released an extremely terrifying cold aura. That was the law of death, which turned her broken body into a pile of bones. Was she dead? Countless people were shocked. The people of the Sky Snake clan also turned pale. Suddenly, among the white bones, there were tens of millions of finger-sized little snakes that burrowed into the ground. She was not dead. She escaped. Countless people exclaimed. The people of the Sky Snake clan were also delighted. Great! The Sky Snake clan was a rare beast of heaven and earth, a ferocious beast from ancient times. They definitely had a super powerful escape method. Now, their princess had used a life-saving method. However, they were also gnashing their teeth. Once she used that method, although she could survive, she would definitely be seriously injured and her foundation would be damaged. It would be difficult to recover without 500 years. She was not dead yet. Lin Xian was also surprised. She had some tricks up her sleeve. However, do you think you can escape? He shouted coldly, and the 9-yang divine body released a terrifying 9-yang divine fire that swept across the surroundings. It burned the world. At this moment, Lin Xian turned into the sun god of war. He was like the sun, and his terrifying light enveloped the world. In an instant, the escaping sky snakes screamed crazily under the ground. They were burned by the raging fire and eventually disappeared into thin air. Chapter 53:18. He died again. Everyone was stunned. The people from the Sky Snake clan roared crazily. They couldn't accept it. Had their clan's proud daughter fallen? It was like a bolt from the blue to them. The 9-star princess and the others were terrified. Lin Xian was too powerful. He killed Chen Mu in 1 move. He killed Kai Lingyi in 2 moves. That was a heaven-defying move. Who among the younger generation could be his match? Lin Xian turned around and looked at the last young powerhouse, the Ice Dragon Elite. The Ice Dragon Elite's face turned extremely pale. He was still full of confidence and had the confidence to fight. However, when he saw 2 experts die with his own eyes, he was scared out of his wits. Facing Lin Xian's gaze, he didn't dare to resist at all. He said, "Lin Gongzi, this is a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding?" Lin Xian smiled. "Since it's a misunderstanding, you can apologize with your death." The Ice Dragon Elite was stunned, and the smile on his face froze. Lin Xian sneered. "Why, you're not going to do it yourself? Then I'll do it for you and send you to hell." As he said that, he slashed out with his sword. That sword was extremely terrifying and sharp. It turned into the shadow of a dragon and descended from the sky. "Damn it!" The Ice Dragon Elite roared angrily and froze the world. He used his terrifying bloodline power and turned into thousands of ice dragon phantoms, freezing the entire world. Meanwhile, he quickly retreated and fled into the distance. The sword chi in the sky was frozen, but it was useless. With a crack, The sword chi shone in all directions, and the cold light pierced through the world. Under the sword, the thousands of frost were all split in half. Not only that, the entire world was split open, and a large crack spread into the distance. Then, it enveloped the ice dragon elite in the distance. His body was torn apart. Endless cracks appeared on the ice dragon elite's body, and he shattered like cherry blossoms. He didn't even have time to scream before he vanished into thin air. Lin Xian put away his long sword and stood with his hands behind his back like a sword immortal. The surrounding people were dumbfounded. From the moment Lin Xian made his move to the end of the battle, only a few seconds had passed. It could be said that in the blink of an eye, the three young giants had all fallen. The world of samsara in the heavenly palace slowly disappeared, surrounded by a sea of blood. Everything was silent. Damn it, you dare to kill our princess? The experts of the heavenly snake clan roared crazily. Lin Xian said coldly as he looked disdainfully at the other party, "Do you want revenge? I can give you a chance." The Sky Serpent clan experts felt their scalps go numb when they heard this. They kept retreating in fear. Who would dare to make a move in such a situation? But at this time, a crazy roar came from the distance. Following that, countless experts rushed out from the surroundings. Another middle-aged man strode over. They were from Chunmu's line. When those elders saw Chunmu fall, they roared crazily. Who was it? They had gone too far. They stared straight ahead. When he realized that it was Lin Xian, his eyelids twitched wildly. "You are the new palace master?" Lin Xian looked at the middle-aged man in front of him and asked in a deep voice. The middle-aged man also felt his scalp go numb. Although he was a palace master, so what? His previous palace master had been killed by this young man in front of him. Therefore, he didn't dare to be careless when facing Lin Wuti. Instead, it was as if he was facing a great enemy. Why did Lin Gongzi kill Chunmu? You don't seem to have any grudges. The middle-aged man gritted his teeth and asked, "Why did he kill him?" "I'm standing up for Zixing. Is this reason enough?" Hearing this, the middle-aged palace master's pupils constricted. He looked at Zixing in shock. Damn it, has Zixing become Lin Wuti's friend? It was too unbelievable. It seemed that Chunmu had died in vain this time. He didn't dare to make a move at all. He gritted his teeth and said, "Fine, Lin Gongzi, let's forget about this matter. The mountains will not change, and the rivers will flow forever. We will have a chance to meet again in the future. I won't send Lin Gongzi off." As the palace master of the immortal foundation realm, he dominated the world and controlled a region. But now, facing a young man, he couldn't make a move. He even had to treat him with respect. He felt like he had been slapped in the face. So he desperately wanted to leave now. Lin Xian laughed. "Did I say you could leave?" The middle-aged palace master stopped, turned his head, and gritted his teeth. What else did Lin Gongzi want? His voice was abnormally cold. "You are not suitable to be the palace master of the 9-star Immortal Foundation." His calm voice sounded like thunder. The surrounding people were all dumbfounded, especially those from Chunmu's faction, their pupils constricted. The middle-aged palace master also shouted angrily, "Lin Wuti, what do you mean by this? Are you still interfering in the affairs of the Immortal Foundation realm?" The elders also shouted, "Lin Wuti, don't go overboard. This is the 9-star Immortal Foundation, not your territory." "Overboard?" Lin Xian sneered. "Back then, when you cooperated with the primal chaos race to kill me, did you think about going overboard? It seems that the punishment I gave you last time was too light." Lin Xian emitted a monstrous killing intent. The surrounding people were so scared that their scalps went numb. Lin Wuti, was he planning to settle the score? They had indeed worked together to kill him. If he came looking for them with this reason, it was indeed very reasonable. But if they really fought, could their 9-star Immortal Foundation withstand it? One had to know that back then, the primal chaos race's boundary emperor came personally with so many ancient families and great emperor families to kill Lin Wuti, but they didn't succeed. Not to mention that they only had one immortal foundation now. Thinking of this, the elders' faces were filled with despair. The middle-aged palace master also took a deep breath. He lowered his head and said, "Lin Gongzi, our immortal foundation was indeed in the wrong. That was why the previous palace master died. You have already taken your revenge. Now, I will lead the immortal foundation. I promise that I will not be your enemy in the future." As a palace master, lowering his head to a young man like this. If this spread out, it would definitely be shocking. However, Lin Xian shook his head. "I am not at ease. I plan to let Madame Purple Star be the palace master of the Immortal Foundation." When these words came out, those from the 9-star palace master's faction were stunned. Those from Madame Purple Star's faction were overjoyed. The sun was fine. Madame Purple Star even bowed and cupped her fists. From now on, she will respect the young master. "Impossible!" the middle-aged palace master roared crazily. "You have no right to interfere in the affairs of our immortal foundation." Lin Xian sneered. "Do you think I am discussing with you? I am just informing you. Madame Purple Star, from now on, you are the new palace master of the 9-star Immortal Foundation. If they dare to resist, I can help you clean up the sect." "Damn it," the middle-aged palace master roared. "Get into formation and kill them." He was really crazy. He had just become the palace master. How could he allow others to snatch it away? What's more, Lin Wuti was alone now. He could kill him quietly. The peerless spirit formation in the surroundings was formed as those elders swarmed over from all directions. Lin Xian laughed heartily. "Attack! You are courting death." Extremely terrifying reincarnation light appeared in his eyes. Reincarnation fire. With a glance, the soul fire flew out. Those elders hugged their heads and screamed. Their souls burned and fell from the sky one by one. Some people's souls were directly destroyed. Some were seriously injured. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of experts were turned into ashes. The surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. What kind of strength was this? Just a glance was enough to kill so many experts. This was too shocking. Chapter 53:19. "All of you, back off. Let me kill him." When the middle-aged palace master caught sight of this, his heart was bleeding. These were the powers of the powerful beings of their lineage. Now that so many of them had died, he couldn't accept it. He wanted to kill Lin Fan personally. He was a divine ancestor, a peak great sage. He shouted in anger, and a nebula appeared on his body. Endless starry sky covered the entire area. Then a pagoda appeared. There were millions of rays of starlight on it, and it charged towards Lin Xian. It was the Starry Treasure Pagoda. The surrounding experts exclaimed in shock. Zixing and the rest frowned. Previously, they were confused. Why was this middle-aged man the pagoda master? Because this middle-aged man had just reached the peak great sage realm. Based on cultivation and experience, he shouldn't be the divine ancestor. But now, when they saw the Starry Treasure Pagoda, they didn't understand. Because this person was very talented. Although he had just become a divine ancestor, his future was bright. The Starry Treasure Pagoda was a secret in the 9-star immortal platforms. It was very difficult to cultivate. It was on the same level as the 10 Extremity star map. Now that he had cultivated it, its power was really terrifying. The Starry Treasure Pagoda in the sky was exceptionally bright. The starlight above it descended and covered Lin Xian. "Let's see how you're going to die this time." The middle-aged palace master laughed coldly. He was very confident in his own divine ancestor. Lin Xian scoffed. He took out the Hell God sword and swept it in all directions. The sword light danced in the air like lightning, causing the surrounding starlight to dim. What a terrifying sword technique. The surrounding people were shocked. This was really the young sword god. When the middle-aged palace master saw this, his face turned cold. He shouted in anger, and the starry treasure pagoda descended. This was an extremely terrifying divine ancestor. After it descended, it turned into a huge mountain. The entire world began to shake violently, and countless terrifying cracks appeared in the surroundings. The surrounding sword chi was bent. One could imagine how terrifying the starry treasure pagoda was. Seeing this, the middle-aged divine ancestor laughed coldly. Lin Wuti, you're definitely going to lose this battle. The surrounding spectators were terrified. Lin Fan was too powerful. The starry treasure pagoda was too terrifying. Lin Wuti was still no match for the venerated ancestor. One after another, earth-shattering voices could be heard. Starry treasure pagoda? He was indeed very strong. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a terrifying light. However, you underestimate my swordsmanship. Let me show you my swordsmanship. Lin Xian roared and waved his sword. That one sword strike was breathtaking. A terrifying aura pierced through the 9 heavens and 10 earths, causing the starry treasure pagoda to shake violently. The starlight on it dimmed. Then, a few more sword strikes landed on it. Instantly, the starry treasure pagoda flew out. The sword chi became more and more terrifying, and all of them hit the same place. The starry treasure pagoda kept on flying backward, and a crack appeared on it. With a cracking sound, it shattered into pieces. The middle-aged sacred leader instantly spat out a mouthful of blood. This was his Tao artifact. They were connected by blood. Now that it was damaged, even his foundation was severely damaged. Blood dyed the sky red. He fell into the sea of blood and roared madly. Impossible! What kind of sword technique was this? He had never seen it before. The others were also shocked. What kind of sword technique was Lin Wuti using? Lin Xian retracted his sword and said coldly, "This is a sword technique that I created myself. It's called breathtaking." Breathtaking sword technique. Countless people were shocked. This was actually a sword technique that he created himself. Had Lin Wuti already reached this stage? Was he going to create his own Tao? The 9-star princess and the others were shocked. To be honest, at their level, creating their own martial arts wasn't a problem at all. However, very few people would use their own martial arts divine abilities. After all, the martial arts that had been passed down had been refined for tens of thousands of years, or even millions of years. No matter how strong a sacred leader was, he could only live for a few thousand years. It couldn't be compared to the martial arts that had been passed down. Those martial arts had been modified by countless powerful ancestors. They were powerful martial arts. That was the reason why everyone learned to train in those kinds of techniques. But now, Lin Xian's self-created technique surpassed everything else. It was too unbelievable. How high had this person reached in the sword Tao? Impossible. How could he create such a terrifying martial arts divine ability? The middle-aged sacred leader's face was full of disbelief. Lin Xian said in a deep voice, "Nothing was impossible." A glimpse of a martial arts divine ability that was like a meteor shining in life, but then dimmed in an instant. Over the years, I've seen too many geniuses, and they're all amazing. They rose in the starry sky and swept across the universe, making people remember them instantly. But then they disappeared, and their souls were destroyed. Yan Nantian, the Dragon Prince, and Hun Tian were all geniuses of their generation. But in the end, they all died in my hands. I killed countless geniuses and comprehended the great Tao to create this breathtaking sword technique. Now that you have died under this martial arts divine ability, it's not an unjust death. With that said, Lin Xian slashed out again. The martial arts divine ability was indeed terrifying. When the sword lit up, it illuminated the world, and everyone couldn't open their eyes. After the sword, the middle-aged sacred leader's soul was destroyed. The sword light suddenly disappeared. It was extremely strange, shocking, absolutely shocking. The surrounding crowd was silent. Not a single sound could be heard. Lin Xian looked around and asked indifferently, "Is there anyone who's not convinced?" The elders who objected all lowered their heads. They no longer dared to be unconvinced. If they continued to fight, their lineage would probably be destroyed. Therefore, they could only say that they were willing to submit. Lin Xian nodded. Good. From now on, Zixing would be the new sacred leader. Greetings, sacred leader. Everyone took a deep breath and bowed respectfully to Zixing. The elders behind Madame Purple Star were incomparably excited. This was great. Their lineage had finally become a hall master. They would definitely be able to shine in the future. Zixing was also extremely excited. To be honest, he had never thought that he would become the sacred leader one day. Of course, he knew that all of this was because of Lin Xian. Lin Xian could make him the sacred leader with a single sentence, but he could also make him fall into the abyss with a single sentence. Therefore, he took a deep breath and looked at Lin Xian. From now on, I am willing to follow young master. Good. From now on, you are a member of the Divine Union. Lin Xian patted Zixing's shoulder. He was also very happy. An immortal foundation was also a terrifying force. Now that two immortal foundations were on his side, the Divine Union was even more terrifying. Young master, please. Zixing and the others respectfully invited Lin Xian in. Princess. The elders beside the 9-star princess also shook their heads and sighed. They were afraid that the 9-star palace master would do something stupid. The 9-star princess smiled bitterly. Don't worry, I won't go against Lin Wuti. As a young powerhouse, she was also arrogant and didn't care about anything. However, in front of Lin Xian, she had no choice but to lower her head. There was only one outcome for going against Lin Xian, and that was death. The elders beside her were also shocked. Lin Wuti was too strong. He had made the 9-star Immortal Foundation submit with just a few words. They wondered how shocked the universe would be when he walked out. The 9-star princess's eyes were also shining brightly. For the past 3 years, there had been rumors that Lin Wuti was dead. Now that he had come out alive, those people would probably be dumbfounded. Over the past 3 years, many people had secretly made moves against the Divine Union and the Sacred Hall. These people would probably be scared silly when they heard the news about Lin Xian. Chapter 53:20. In the main hall of the 9-star Immortal Platform, Lin Xian sat on the throne. Madame Purple Star and the others stood respectfully at the side. The others also stood up one after another. Although they knew that Madame Purple Star was the new hall master, the current owner of the 9-star Immortal Platform was Lin Wuti. Tell me what happened in the past 3 years, Lin Xian asked in a deep voice. An Immortal Platform's information was definitely more than what they knew. Soon, the elder of the 9-star Immortal Platform walked out and recounted what happened in the past 3 years. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He had already heard some of it. However, there were still some things he didn't know. For example, there were a few double-crowned kings in the universe. This really surprised him. Moreover, some of the identities of these double-crowned kings had already been guessed. It wasn't this generation, but the previous generation, or even the generation before that. In every era, there would be some terrifying experts who transcended mortality. They calculated that the opportunity to become an immortal emperor was in this era. Therefore, some of the top geniuses went into seclusion and chose to sleep for endless years. They appeared in the era where there was hope to become an immortal emperor. The current era was the best, golden era. So these people came out one after another. Golden era. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes when he heard that. He felt the pressure. However, he snorted coldly. So what? He wasn't afraid of the double-crowned kings. He was also a double-crowned king now, and this wasn't the end. Lin Xian knew that there was still a triple-crowned king in the Purple Mansion. His strength would probably be even more terrifying. Lin Xian looked around and asked in a deep voice, "Your immortal platforms should have some ancient inheritance or ruins, right? I want to feel the supreme aura of the great Tao." This made the elders hesitate. Madame Purple Star walked out with the Hall Master token in her hand. "I am the new Hall Master. I announce that Lin Gongzi can enjoy the cultivation treatment of a Hall Master. The immortal platforms had core secrets. Ordinary people couldn't cultivate at all. Even some elders didn't have the qualifications. Only the core elders and the Hall Masters had it. Lin Xian was an outsider. Normally, he wouldn't have the right to do so. However, that might not be the case now." The elders nodded and said, "Lin Gongzi, this way, please." At the core of the 9-star immortal platform, there were 9 constellations revolving unceasingly. Every star was extremely mysterious, and some of them were even stained with blood, although it was already dry. The aura on it was incomparably terrifying. Lin Gongzi, the name of our 9-star immortal platforms, comes from these 9 stars. These 9 stars had already existed before the Yuhua immortal dynasty was destroyed. Back then, our ancestors were also unparalleled powerhouses in the Yuhua immortal dynasty. These 9 stars were his. Over the past 10,000 years, we have comprehended many great Taos from these 9 stars and created many divine abilities. As for what young master could comprehend, it would depend on young master's luck. "Oh, really?" Lin Xian nodded and sat down cross-legged. He looked at the 9 stars in front of him to comprehend the aura of the Great Path. As for the others, they slowly withdrew from the hall. While Lin Xian was cultivating, the Hundun race was gnashing their teeth. Their Hundun body had been snatched away, and their ancestors had not returned for a long time. This made them feel despair. Their strongest genius had fallen, and his corpse was gone. And their greatest reliance, the Quasi-Emperor, was also missing. Could it be that something had happened to their ancestor? If the Quasi-Emperor had fallen, then their Hundun race would be completely finished. However, what made them heave a sigh of relief was that their ancestor's soul fire was still there. It wasn't extinguished. In the ancient hall, there was a ball of flame that kept jumping. It was left behind by the Quasi-Emperor. As long as the soul fire was not extinguished, it meant that they were definitely not dead. But now, where were their Quasi-Emperors? They didn't know. The situation didn't improve, and their ancestor probably wouldn't be back for a while. They couldn't take revenge. At the thought of this, they gritted their teeth. Damn Lin Wuti! He dared to kill their double-crown champion. They were so angry that they vomited blood. Some of the sacred patriarchs were even discussing how to assassinate Lin Xian. However, that didn't work. This was because the current Lin Xian had already matured and had many powerful saints behind him. If a battle of that level were to occur again, the situation would probably be the same as before. If a group battle didn't work, then they could only send one person to challenge them. This way, the experts behind Lin Xian wouldn't be able to do anything. But who should he send? Even the dual-crowned king chaotic body had fallen. The others would only be sending themselves to their deaths if they went. At this moment, a ray of chaotic light flew out from the ancient palace. At the same time, a cold voice rang out. "I'll kill that Lin Wuti." Hearing this, everyone was stunned. They looked ahead. The chaotic light was a strange stone with a terrifying radiance radiating from it. When some of the elders caught sight of it, their faces changed. "Greetings, Lord Chaos Stone." They all bowed because the origin of this stone was very unusual. This was the rock beside the Quasi-Emperor. The Quasi-Emperor meditated and cultivated all year round on this stone. Therefore, this stone also carried a trace of extremely terrifying Emperor's aura. The surrounding members of the chaotic race were all excited. Although the Chaos Stone was a stone, after countless years, it had long possessed a soul. This was equivalent to a powerful living being. If Lord Chaos Stone were to take action, there would definitely be a chance. This was an existence even more powerful than Hun Tian. After all, a stone had existed for too long. In addition, it had been by the Quasi-Emperor's side all year round. Its realm could be said to be unfathomable. The other elders of the divine ancestor level were very respectful when they saw the other party. Lord Chaos Stone, are you going to take action? That's great. If you take action, that Lin Wuti will definitely die. That's right, Lord Chaos, please kill that kid. The surrounding roars rang out one after another. They saw hope. The Chaos Stone nodded. He said that Lin Wuti had to be killed, and the person who forcefully took away the chaotic body also had to be killed. The chaotic body had to be taken back. I am from the chaotic race. I won't allow others to challenge me. At this point, the Chaos Stone emitted an extremely terrifying chaotic aura that pierced through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. The terrifying pressure made those experts feel as if they were facing a great enemy. Where was Lin Wuti? I'll kill him, Chaos said coldly. The surrounding elders had ugly expressions on their faces. Lord Chaos Stone, after the battle between Lin Wuti and His Highness Hun Tian 3 years ago, there was no news of him. It was said that he was in seclusion. Some people said that he was seriously injured and died. He hasn't appeared yet. He hasn't appeared? Humph, if he's alive, I want to see him. If he's dead, I want to see his corpse. It doesn't matter if he doesn't appear. Go to his sect, and I'll make him appear. Chapter 53:21. He had the sacred hall and the divine union under him. However, the most famous one was the divine union. It was an alliance that had gathered countless ancient families and powerhouses. The divine union. All right, let's go to the divine union. The chaotic nightmare Stone's eyes glowed with a terrifying light. He shot up into the sky. A group of chaotic tribe powerhouses followed behind him. The divine union was like the sun in the sky. It was no longer just a small force in the Tao. Now, it had grown into a colossal entity and was a powerful alliance. Therefore, the divine union didn't just exist in the Tao. They had also opened up a territory in the entire Holy Origin ancient city and built their own mansion. The divine union was very lively now because their new mansion had just been built. It was located in the east of the ancient city. It was so majestic that one couldn't see the end of it. There were countless array formations in the surroundings that had been set up by the Crimson Dragon and a group of array formation experts. From that day onward, the divine union would start a new legend. He would also become the overlord of the Holy Origin ancient city and be as famous as the 3 great Tao sects and the Holy Origin Tower. In an instant, countless experts came to congratulate him. His allies also came. The Eternal Life Hall, the Fire God Palace, the Pill Cauldron Sect, the Fire Dragon Tribe, the Black Sea Dragon Tribe, the Nalen family, and the Duga family all came. Powerful sects and clans arrived one after another. It was very lively. Disciples of the Tao could be seen everywhere. On top of that, the people of Peerless City also came. Fu, Hongya, Lu Yuan, and the others all returned to witness this miraculous moment. The other sects and families in the Holy Origin ancient city also came to congratulate him. They looked at the scene with mixed emotions. It was unbelievable. One had to know that to become the overlord of the Holy Origin ancient city, it would take tens of thousands of years or even tens of thousands of years of development. However, it had only been a few years since the divine union had been established, and it had been at its peak. More importantly, the person who had established the divine union had been a young man. Now, he had grown into a colossal entity that everyone came to congratulate him. It was really heaven-defying. Of course, they knew that the owner of the divine union was even more heaven-defying. He was a young supreme being who had killed the emperor's son and the double-crowned king. Although his whereabouts were unknown, no one dared to underestimate him. In the manner of the divine union, there was an endless stream of geniuses chatting and exchanging pointers with one another. The scene was very lively. A banquet was held in the central hall of the divine union. Those who could enter were all top-notch geniuses and terrifying experts. In the northern position there was a throne, but it was empty. That was for Lin Xian. On both sides of the throne were a few other core members of the divine union. For example, Bai Susu, the Crimson Dragon, and Fu Hongya. They sat there. Bai Susu stood up. She had dressed up meticulously today. Her white robe was spotless, and her beautiful face was like that of a fairy descending to the mortal world. She raised a cup of spirit wine, looked around the hall, and said with a smile, "Today is a great day for the divine union to rebuild the sect. Thank you all for coming. The leader of the divine union, Lin Wudi, is temporarily unable to attend due to cultivation. Let me toast everyone. White Fairy is too polite. The surrounding people didn't dare to be careless. In the past, Bai Susu was only the daughter of a Tao sect elder and a top genius. He couldn't be compared to these big shots at all. However, things were different now. Bai Susu was the great elder of the divine union. Her status was definitely extraordinary. Actually, this should be the case. After all, Bai Susu was in charge of all the affairs of the divine union. Lin Xian was a hands-off shopkeeper who only knew how to cultivate. The divine union had to find someone to manage it. Morong Qingcheng, Shen Jingxiu, and the others were all focused on cultivation and didn't like to manage such matters. Bai Susu was very suitable. Her status in the divine union was equivalent to Peacock's status in the divine hall. That was very high. Therefore, her toast was equivalent to representing the divine union and Lin Xian. The others naturally didn't dare to be careless. After this, the surrounding people also stood up to toast and present congratulatory gifts. Voices rang out one after another as congratulatory gifts were brought out one after another. Everyone exclaimed in surprise. These were all precious treasures. Only the divine union could bring out all of them at once. The members of the divine union were very proud. They all had smiles on their faces. Bai Susu was also very happy. This was great. When Lin Xian returned, she would finally be able to give him a satisfactory explanation. Suddenly, a voice came from afar like a clap of thunder. How could the Primal Chaos tribe miss out on such a grand occasion? The thunderous voice reverberated in all directions. Everyone in the Divine Union's main hall was stunned. The Primal Chaos tribe. Their pupils shrank. The news of Hun Tian's death had spread all over the universe. Everyone knew that the double-crowned king of the Primal Chaos tribe had been slain by Lin Xian. The two of them were arch-enemies. The Primal Chaos tribe definitely wasn't here to congratulate them. They were definitely here to cause trouble. Could their boundary emperor have returned? Were they here to kill their way in? Thinking of this possibility, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. The members of the Divine Union were also shocked. People like Dark Red Shinong, Fu Hongya, Bai Susu, and the others even stood up. Let's go. Bai Susu led the group out of the main hall. A group of people followed the powerhouses who had come to congratulate them out of the main hall. They looked up at the sky, which was now filled with primal chaos aura. It was as though the heavens and earth had been split apart. There were countless terrifying cracks in the sky. Everyone felt a sense of fear and oppression. Powerhouses had arrived. There were a lot of them. A moment later, they saw numerous demonic figures appear amidst the primal chaos aura in the sky. They were from the Primal Chaos tribe. Many people exclaimed in shock as their pupils shrank. The members of the Divine Union were in an uproar. Susu walked out, looked at the sky, and said loudly, "Primal Chaos Tribe, the Divine Union didn't invite you. Aren't you being too rude by coming uninvited? Leave. We don't welcome you today. The Primal Chaos Tribe can go anywhere in the world. Could it be that we can't come to the Divine Union?" A sacred lord in the sky said coldly. Suddenly, a terrifying aura surged out in all directions. The Crimson Dragon and the others also shouted angrily. Did they want to fight? They would accompany them to the end. The members of the Divine Union exuded an extremely terrifying aura. The members of the Primal Chaos Tribe in the sky didn't back down. However, a voice rang out. Where was Lin Wudi? Get him out here. This voice was even colder, and the Primal Chaos aura was even more terrifying. The surrounding people's pupils shrank when they heard this voice. Who was this person? What arrogance! A moment later, they saw the powerhouses of the Primal Chaos Tribe in the sky open up a path. Then, a beam of primal chaos light flew out. Chapter 53:22. Who are you? You think you can meet our alliance leader? Susu snorted coldly. The others were also in a heated discussion. Who was this person? They could sense that this wasn't a quasi-emperor. Hence, they were even more curious. Apart from a quasi-emperor and a chaotic body, what other terrifying experts did the chaotic tribe have? In the sky, the light of chaos gradually disappeared, following which a rock appeared. The stone was only 1/2 meter tall and had a strange shape. There were chaotic runes on it, and it looked very mysterious. Everyone was stunned. They had not expected it to be a stone. The people of the Divine Union were also stunned. Susu snorted coldly. How dare a mere stone act so presumptuously in the Divine Union? You have no right to meet our alliance leader. Was there no one else in the chaotic tribe sending a stone over? What a joke! The Crimson Dragon sneered as well. The other people of the Divine Union also burst into laughter. They had originally thought that it would be some powerful figure. They had not expected it to be a stone. How dare you be so rude to our Lord Chaotic Stone? Do you have a death wish? The elders of the chaotic tribe in the sky roared furiously. The other experts and powerhouses narrowed their eyes when they heard this. Lord Chaotic Stone? It seemed like he had an extraordinary background. Otherwise, why would the elders of the chaotic tribe be so respectful? The chaotic stone looked down and stared at Susu. How dare an ant like you talk to me like this? Today I will let you know what etiquette is. Apart from Lin Wudi, none of you are worthy of going up against me. As he spoke, he shot out a ray of chaotic light. This ray of chaotic light was very bright. The moment it appeared, it turned into a bolt of lightning and charged towards Susu. His speed and strength caused the pupils of the surrounding people to shrink. The sect masters and clan leaders exclaimed in surprise. This power was too shocking for them. Susu's expression changed as well. He shouted angrily and sent out a palm strike. The current hymn had undergone an earth-shattering change compared to before. During the period when Lin Xian was not around, he had been presiding over the Divine Union. Therefore, he had obtained a lot of cultivation resources. The current her had also become a kind of young giant. Her strength was extremely terrifying. At this moment, she struck out with her palm. Clouds and mist drifted about. Firmament palm. When the two collided, an earth-shattering sound erupted. However, in the next instant, the firmament palm was pierced through. Susu clutched her hand as she backed away. Her face was extremely pale. He even spat out a mouthful of blood. The surrounding people exclaimed in surprise when they saw this, especially the people from the Divine Union. Their expressions changed drastically. Right now, Susu was already a young powerhouse. Now, he was even injured by the array formation. He was only slightly injured. Your array formation skills are not bad. However, you are still no match for me. The Chaos Stone looked at the Crimson Dragon with a hint of surprise. The people of the Chaotic Tribe sneered. The Divine Union was just SOSO. What about Lin Wuti? He dared to kill our Highness. Today, we are here to take revenge. Get him out here. Cold shouts were heard one after another. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. The members of the Divine Union also looked gloomy. They said, "Why don't we attack together?" Yes, that was right. Experts from the Eternal Life Hall, the Duga family, and the Fire Dragon tribe all walked out. They planned to attack together. The elders of the Chaotic tribe sneered when they saw this. What? You can't beat him one-on-one, so you want to attack together? Is this the strength of the Divine Union? Do you think you are the only ones? Lin Wuti has too many enemies. As long as we give the order, all your enemies will rush over. Let's see what you can do then. Hearing this, the faces of the people of the Divine Union turned ugly. Bai Susu also said, "Don't act rashly. Damn it, where did this stupid stone come from?" The Crimson Dragon also gritted his teeth. He had not expected that even he would be defeated. Let me do it. At this moment, a figure floated over from the depths of the Divine Dragon Mansion. This figure was extremely beautiful. She was expressionless. When she arrived, she looked up at the Chaos Stone in the sky. When the people around saw her, they exclaimed. It was Fairy Shun. Chapter 53:23. It was Shun Jingqiu. Her appearance restored the confidence of the Divine Union members. After all, Shun Jingqiu was a genius who was even stronger than Bai Susu, the Crimson Dragon, and the others. The surrounding people also exclaimed, was Shun Jingqiu going to make a move? It seemed like the situation had taken a turn for the better. Are you Shun Jingqiu? You are no match for me. Get Lin Wuti to come out. The Divine Union members' faces changed when they heard this. The Crimson Dragon gritted his teeth. What was a piece of broken stone being so arrogant about? That's right. Even your chaotic body was destroyed by our Alliance leader Lin. How dare a piece of stone like you go against Alliance leader Lin? Be careful not to send you to the 18th level of hell. The chaotic stone emitted a terrifying killing intent when he heard this. It pierced through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. The surrounding people felt their scalps go numb as the entire place fell silent. The Divine Union members felt their blood boil, and their bodies were about to split apart. At that moment, Shun Jingqiu walked out. A terrifying golden vortex appeared around her body. Terrifying nomological laws also surged out as she struck out with her palm, shattering the surrounding void. The others also retreated. One could imagine how strong Shun Jingqiu was. Humph! The stone of primal chaos snorted coldly. The light of primal chaos on its body descended with an extremely strong killing intent. It seemed to have transformed into a chaotic sword that swept out in all directions. In the next moment, he charged over like a bolt of lightning. He charged toward Shun Jingqiu. Shun Jingqiu snorted as she formed a hand seal and flicked it out. A golden light flew out and collided with the other party. Instantly, 100,000 thunderous booms were heard. Heaven and earth were turned upside down. With the two of them as the center, a violent force swept out in all directions. The surrounding people all retreated. At the same time, they cried out in surprise. Too powerful. Boom. Suddenly, an extremely terrifying aura erupted from the chaotic stone. It was several times stronger than before. Shun Jingqiu's pupils shrank as she was forced to retreat. At the same time, a mysterious figure appeared in the golden vortex behind her. It suppressed heaven and earth. Even so, she still retreated a dozen steps. The surrounding people widened their eyes in disbelief. What had they just seen? Shun Jingqiu had been forced back. This was unbelievable. One should know that Shinjingqiu was extremely powerful, but now he was actually forced back. Just how terrifying was this chaos gem? No wonder the Handan tribe dared to come here and challenge Lin Xian. He was not injured at all. The Stone of Chaos was also surprised. It looked at Shin Qingqiu and the figure behind him and frowned deeply. Taboo martial arts? Looks like I've underestimated you. One had to know that even if it was a young giant, that move just now would be able to kill him. Even the double champion could be injured, but Shin Jingqiu was unharmed. However, he didn't care because he knew that his strength was enough to crush everything. You don't have to do anything. You're no match for me. Let Lin Wuti come out. I gave him 10 days. If he doesn't appear in 10 days, I'll come here and kill all of you. Don't even think about escaping. Who wants to escape? I will immediately kill him. With that said, the Chaos Gem sneered. He soared into the sky, leading the people of the Handan tribe to the 9 heavens and began to wait. The people around felt their scalps go numb. The people of the Divine Union had extremely ugly expressions. Damn it, why was he being targeted by such a terrifying expert? At the same time, the news spread. The entire saintly origin ancient city was in an uproar. What? Someone had actually come knocking on the Divine Union's door. Moreover, they were suppressed to the point that they couldn't even lift their heads. Who was so terrifying? Bai Susu had been defeated. The Crimson Dragon had been defeated. Even Shin Jingqiu had been forced back by a single move. How terrifying was that person? It was someone from the Handan tribe. Impossible. Could it be that Hun Tian had been resurrected? Exclamations rang out one after another. What had happened here was simply too shocking. It wasn't Hun Tian, but a piece of rock. A chaos gem. What? A piece of rock? How could it be so heaven-defying? The Handan tribe was too terrifying. An older generation elite said, this wasn't an ordinary rock. I could feel a terrifying aura coming from him. The origin of this rock is definitely extraordinary. Soon, news about the Chaos Gem spread all over the place. Someone said they had found out that this was a rock that was beside the Handan Quasi-Emperor. He had been by the Quasi-Emperor's side for many years and had a trace of Emperor's might on him. Heavens, no wonder he was so powerful. Anything related to the Quasi-Emperor was extremely terrifying. Even Shin Jingqiu had lost. It turned out that it was the Quasi-Emperor's rock. Was this rock here to avenge Hun Tian? He was challenging Lin Wuti. There had been no news of Lin Wuti for 3 years. If he didn't appear in 10 days, the Divine Union would probably be finished. No one could withstand a single attack from the Chaos Gem. In an instant, countless people were shocked. The news spread to the entire buried Emperor Star, and even the universe. When people from the 10,000 Dragon Court, Purple Mansion, and Destiny Gemini races heard this, they laughed heartily. They had previously attacked the Divine Union, but had returned empty-handed. They hadn't expected that the Divine Union would be in such a crisis now. Great. Let's go and watch. They all headed over. When necessary, they could provide help to the Handan tribe. When Xiang Daozong and the others heard this, their faces turned gloomy. The savage wilderness ancestor walked out and suppressed the world. The divine ancestor of the Handan tribe had indeed said that their Lord Chaos Gem would only fight Lin Wuti alone. They didn't want a war between the sections. Of course, if you guys fight, the Handan tribe won't be afraid. His voice was sonorous. The 10,000 Dragon Court, Golden Crow tribe, Purple Mansion, and the others all rushed over to watch. In an instant, the situation became dangerous. The ancestral ancestor's face turned gloomy. They really couldn't do anything. This was because once they did, it would become a battle between dozens of ancient families. An extreme Dao weapon would appear once again, and the outcome would be difficult to determine. Lin Xian, where are you? Have you heard the news? Come back quickly. The savage wilderness ancestor and the others were anxious. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Court sneered. I don't think Lin Wuti would dare to come back. The people from the Purple Mansion snorted. Perhaps he had already died. The people from the Golden Crow tribe snorted. If he dared to come back, he would definitely be killed by the Chaos Gem. This was a rock with the might of a quasi-emperor. These people all had a grudge against Lin Xian. Now that they saw this scene, they naturally mocked and ridiculed. They even hoped that Lin Xian would come out. Then he would be suppressed. What should they do? The people from the Divine Union were also panicking. The people from the Eternal Life Hall and the Duga family were also anxious. Was Lin Gongzi okay? The Crimson Dragon said, Don't worry, he will definitely come. He had already sent a message to Lin Xian. At the same time, Yan Ruyu, Morong, Qingcheng, and the others arrived one after another. They were all waiting. In the blink of an eye, 5 days passed. On this day in the universe, in the quintessential world, another piece of news came. It swept across the universe. It was news about Lin Xian. Chapter 53:24. Lin Xian had come out of seclusion and subdued the 9-star Immortal Foundation. He had killed Chen Mu, Kai Ling Yi, and Bing Long. He had killed the new Hall Master of the 9-star Immortal Foundation. He had gained complete control of the Immortal Foundation. The news was like a storm sweeping across the world. When those people heard it, they were all dumbfounded. It wasn't the first time Lin Xian had killed a young powerhouse. However, he had killed another Hall Master of the Immortal Foundation and subdued it. This was too shocking. That was an Immortal Foundation, an overlord sect. Now, it had also submitted to Lin Wuti. In an instant, the crowd was in an uproar. Could it be that he had used the Boundary Emperor's corpse again? This was because the previous Hall Master of the 9-star Immortal Foundation had been killed by the Boundary Emperor's corpse. However, when the news spread, it was shocking. Lin Wuti hadn't used the Boundary Emperor's corpse or an extreme weapon. He had relied on his own strength to kill the Hall Master. When the news spread, everyone was even more shocked. The new Hall Master of the 9-star Immortal Foundation was also a divine ancestor. Now, Lin Xian could kill a divine ancestor with his own strength. His strength was even stronger than 3 years ago. Countless people were terrified. The faces of the 10,000 Dragons Imperial Court, Zifu, and the others turned ugly. Not only had Lin Wuti not died, but he had become even stronger. This made them grit their teeth. At the same time, the people of the Divine Union cheered. This was great. Their Alliance Master Lin was still alive. Moreover, he had become even more terrifying. As long as Alliance Master Lin came, all the dangers would be resolved. Some experts were even looking forward to it. Lin Wuti was extremely terrifying, and the Chaos Stone had an extraordinary origin. Both of them were super experts. The battle between the two of them would definitely be very exciting. They couldn't miss it. In an instant, everyone headed towards the buried Emperor's star. At this moment, all the experts and geniuses in the universe moved. Some people had regretted not being able to see the battle between Lin Xian and Hun Tian. Now that a Chaos Stone stronger than Hun Tian had appeared, they naturally wouldn't miss it. Moreover, they knew that this would definitely be a life and death battle. After all, both sides were archenemies. One figure after another rose into the sky. In the starry sky of the universe, there was one person who was surrounded by extremely terrifying lightning. It was like the birth of the thunder god, stepping over thousands of miles, running amok in the universe. It was shocking. On the other side, there was someone holding a large black banner. He was like a demonic god as he moved out, leaving everyone horrified. There were also people who were surrounded by flames, as if the god of fire had descended. These experts all headed towards the buried Emperor's star. For a moment, Those who were hurrying through the universe were also alarmed. Damn it, why were these people's auras so powerful? Why do I feel like they're even more terrifying than the sacred ancestor? More importantly, these people looked very young. Could this be one of those legendary experts who managed to remove the seal? Did these people go to watch Lin Woody fight? Everyone was even more shocked. When the news spread, countless people were in an uproar, and even more people went. Lin Woody had become even more powerful than before. The Chaos Stone carried the aura of a quasi-emperor. The two of them were extremely terrifying even among the double champions. They wondered if they had any hope of getting close to the Triple Crown. Hearing the words Triple Crown, everyone was shocked. The Double Crown was already very rare. The Triple Crown was an even more terrifying existence. So far, no Triple Crown had appeared. There was only a legend that there was a Triple Crown in the Z Mansion, but whether it really existed or not, no one could be sure. But once such a person appeared, even among the sacred masters, they could sweep through everything. The older sacred masters also felt the danger. Endless good and evil auras gathered in the Destiny Twins clan. Among them, a middle-aged man had a cold expression. Lin Woody definitely couldn't become the Triple Crown. How many sacred masters couldn't achieve the title of Triple Crown, let alone him? It was certain that he would never be able to achieve it in his lifetime. The surrounding elders nodded in agreement. They even felt that Lin Woody might be killed by the Chaos Stone this time. Had Brother Lin become even stronger? In the Yi family, Yi Wudao's eyes flickered. Let's go and watch this battle. The Yi family experts behind him sucked in a breath of cold air. This Lin Woody was incredible. If anyone could break through to the Triple Crown first, it was very likely that he would. Wudao, after this battle, you'll have to use the things left behind by heaven and earth. The Yi family elders had solemn expressions. I know you're proud and don't want to rely on external forces, but this is a golden era. Countless experts have gathered in this era. Even the experts from tens of thousands of years ago have come out. Another elder said, yes, this thing was left behind by our heavenly emperor for the descendants of the Yi family. It's fine if you use it. Yi Wudao took a deep breath. He said, I understand. I'll consider using it. Hearing this, the Yi family elders laughed. That's great. Yi Wudao was just a young powerhouse. There was still a gap between him and the Double Crown, but they weren't too worried. The Yi family had a strong foundation. Their Yi family had once produced a great emperor, and he was a terrifying existence among the great emperors. He was called the Heavenly Emperor. After the Heavenly Emperor of the Yi family ascended, he left behind a few treasures. Other than the great emperor's ancient scriptures and extreme weapons, there were other treasures. They were prepared for the descendants who had hopes of becoming great emperors. Previously, Yi Wudao had always wanted to rely on his own strength to break through, so he didn't use these things. But now it was time to use it. Once he did, Leaf Dao Denier would undergo a heaven-shaking, earth-toppling transformation. At that time, becoming the Double Crown wouldn't be a problem at all. He might even become the Triple Crown. This was the reason why they were so confident. On the other side, Fire Qilin Cave. Fire Qilin's face turned cold when he heard the news. You're not dead yet? He furrowed his brows tightly. This time, I'll watch you fall with my own eyes. He gritted his teeth. The others, like Kunpingzi and Gufeng, also took action. In addition, there was another person in the universe. This person lived in seclusion on a very desolate planet. At this moment, endless black vortexes were rolling rapidly on his body. At the same time, a monster flew over from afar. The monster respectfully prostrated on the ground and told the figure what happened in the universe. After hearing this, Yao Guang narrowed her eyes. The Chaos Stone and Lin Woody are fighting? I'm looking forward to it. Unfortunately, I don't have time to care about them. Go watch the battle and tell me the result." With that, the monster soared into the sky and flew into the distance. Yao Guang continued to cultivate in seclusion. In her black vortex, a corpse was constantly bobbing up and down. It was the chaos body. Now it was being devoured. Once it was completely devoured, she would have the power of the chaos body. At that time, she wouldn't care about the chaos stone or Lin Wudi. Chapter 53:25. On the 10th day, the Holy Abyss City on the buried Emperor Star had become extremely lively. Countless powerhouses had arrived. Oh my God, that must be Kuan Pengzi. He actually came too. Not only that, but the Fire Qilin also came. Besides them, Gu Feng, Yi Wudao, and the others had also arrived. These were all young powerhouses, and there was even a double crown champion. It was very difficult for so many people to gather together. Only Lin Wudi could do so. Let's go to the Divine Union and see if Lin Wudi had returned. These people all walked towards the city gate. The Divine Union was also surrounded by people. The people of the Divine Union felt immense pressure and retreated to the main hall. Before long, these people walked out again. This time, the leaders were Morong Qingcheng, Shen Jingqiu, and Yen Ruyu. Then, Bai Susu, Crimson Dragon, and the others walked out as well. The injuries on their bodies had all healed. At this moment, their expressions were incomparably serious. Look, Morong Qingcheng is here too. That must be Yen Ruyu. The two of them are also proud ladies. They had also returned. Had Lin Wudi returned? They quickly looked around. However, they realized that Lin Xian was not among these people. Some people sighed. Could Lin Wudi not be here yet? Oh my God. Wasn't he still alive? Why wasn't he here yet? Could it be that he didn't dare to participate in this battle? Discussions broke out one after another. Of course, there were also people who were shocked. Although Lin Xian had not come, the power displayed by the Divine Union was really too strong. Not to mention the families and sects, just the younger generation alone had Yen Ryu, Morong Qingcheng, and Shen Jingqiu. These were three top-notch proud ladies. Besides them, there were also young powerhouses like Crimson Dragon and Bai Susu. This was something that could not be seen in the monarch race. Ordinary monarch races would not produce any young powerhouses besides nurturing their emperor's sons. However, the Divine Union had so many of them. What was so amazing about this? They would probably surpass the monarch races in the future. It was no wonder that the Wanton race wanted to make a move. No one dared to let such a force exist. Boom, boom. Between heaven and earth, tens of thousands of thunder sounded, as if it was going to destroy the world. Everyone felt their scalps go numb. They could feel that the power of this lightning was extremely terrifying. Those saints looked as though they were facing a great enemy. Their faces were filled with despair, while their bodies were trembling. Even the pupils of the saint ancestors shrank. Who was it? Had a terrifying lightning Dao expert arrived? In the next moment, a figure descended from the sea of lightning. He said loudly, "Looks like I'm not too late." This was a very handsome man wearing armor. Lightning surrounded his body. It was as if the god of thunder had descended. He stood there and looked down in all directions. At this moment, the young powerhouses and the older generation's sacred masters all felt immense pressure. Who was this person? How could it be so terrifying? Gu Feng, Kuan Pengzi, and the others' expressions changed drastically. Their strength was simply unable to contend against the other party. Even the Fire Qilin's pupils shrank as a terrifying light burst out from his eyes. The Qilin bloodline in his body erupted, sweeping across the 9 heavens. King, this was a double champion. He was truly astonished. He hadn't expected that the double crown king would also descend. Could it be one of those legendary figures? Heavens, he should be the legendary sleeping powerhouse, the Thunder King. He actually came as well. This was a double champion. Exclamations of surprise rang out one after another. Thunder King, the Double Crown King, a genius who had been sleeping 20,000 years ago, had finally awakened in this era. Moreover, he had arrived. The other party's lightning power was extremely terrifying. It was a violent and destructive power. The other party didn't do anything. He merely stood there, and everyone felt as if they were facing a great enemy. One could imagine that when the other party attacked, it would be an earth-shattering power. The Thunder King stood in the void and looked in all directions. When he saw that those young people couldn't contend against him at all, the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. But soon he stared at the fire Qilin, and a trace of a biting cold light burst out from his eyes. Emperor's son? He could actually become the Double Crown King. He was very strong. He was very interested in the fire Qilin, but he didn't make a move. He still stood in the void. The fire Qilin's face turned cold. He also felt immense pressure. However, he was very confident in himself. He wasn't just the Double Crown King. More importantly, he was the Emperor's son. His bloodline was extraordinary, and he could sweep through everything. With a cold snort, the Qilin bloodline in his body became even more terrifying. Monstrous flames swept across the 9 heavens. At this moment, another voice sounded from the void. Fire Qilin, the bloodline of the Emperor's son. Let me see if your bloodline is more powerful, or is my flames more powerful? As the voice fell, the entire sky turned into a sea of fire. The surrounding people were frightened, and their faces turned pale. Even the sacred ancestors were, as if they were facing a great enemy. They felt as if they were about to be burned. Who was it? The pupils of the Qilin clan's powerhouses constricted. The fire Qilin roared, and the Qilin phantom rushed into the sky. In the next moment, a woman walked out from the sky. This woman was extremely beautiful, and the flames on her body were monstrous. She was like a goddess of fire. Her aura was not weaker than the fire Qilin's at all. Heavens, to be able to contend with the Qilin, she was also a Double Crown King. She was Xinxiang. She was a peerless genius from 30,000 years ago who had fused with the divine flames of heaven and earth. Countless people exclaimed, and the people of the fire Qilin cave were, as if they were facing a great enemy. The fire Qilin's face was also incomparably cold. He could feel that the flames on the other party's body were extremely shocking. Xinxiang glanced at the fire Qilin, and then looked at the chaos stone in the distance. Then she also stood in the sky. Next, the sky turned dark, and a large flag suppressed the world. The entire sky seemed to be about to shatter. Everyone was terrified. Had another expert arrived? Who was it this time? It was He Qi, a figure from 30,000 years ago. The black flag in his hand had killed countless powerhouses. It was said that several sacred ancestors had died in his hands. Upon hearing this, even the divine ancestor powerhouses had ugly expressions on their faces. This person was a terrifying god of slaughter. After He Qi arrived, he stared at the Chaos Stone. He narrowed his eyes. The aura around the quasi-emperor was a little interesting. The other young giants and the older generation powerhouses were as if they were facing a great enemy. There had already been 3 Double Crown Kings, and each of them was earth-shattering. The strength of these people was unfathomable. They wondered if there were still people in hibernation. At this moment, the void in the distance broke open, and a spirit ship flew over. There were many figures standing on it. It was the people of the Purple Mansion. Someone exclaimed. They all looked over. The Purple Mansion's mansion master stood in front, and behind him were the 9 great successors. In addition, there were some people who were very unfamiliar, but the aura on their bodies was incomparably terrifying. They were probably also people who were in hibernation. Although they could not be compared to the Double Crown King, they were still incomparably terrifying. Something's not right. Suddenly, a sacred lord exclaimed, "Look at that person. The aura on his body is incomparably terrifying." Heavens, could it be that the legendary Triple Crown King of the Purple Mansion has come out? They saw a man standing with his hands behind his back amidst the sword chi that filled the sky. The sword shadows on his body were extremely terrifying. "It's him. Lin Wuti. He really came." Exclamations of surprise could be heard. At this moment, the surrounding people all raised their heads to look at the sky, their eyes bursting with a sharp light. The chaos stones of the primal chaos tribe soared into the air, releasing a power that could split the heavens and earth apart. "Is he here?" Murderous intent surged from his body. The people from the Divine Union also stood up. This was great. It was the Union leader. The Alliance Master was finally here. The Nalan clan, Duga clan, Fire Dragon clan, and the others all laughed. They knew that Lin Xian would definitely come. Great. This brat's strength has become stronger again. The Crimson Dragon clan and the others also jumped up in excitement. Indeed, the sword chi on Lin Xian's body was like a star that kept revolving around him. 9 stars aligned. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was treading on the stars like a god of the universe. Such a phenomenon was truly shocking. Why do I feel that this star seems to have been refined from a real world of stars? What has this brat been cultivating for the past 3 years? Everyone was dumbfounded when they saw this scene. Even the divine ancestors were shocked. These 9 stars were really terrifying. This brat's strength had become stronger again. Huichilin's face was extremely cold. He could also feel how terrifying these 9 stars were. On the other side, the Thunder Sovereign stood on the ground, surrounded by 10,000 lightning bolts. "Is this Lin Wuti? He's really strong. He's even more terrifying than the legends say." The other Double Crown champions also looked extremely solemn. The younger generation would surpass them in time. Although they weren't from this era, they had not expected such an amazing person to appear in this era. It was indeed worthy of being called the Golden Age. The 9 successors of the Purple Mansion were also shocked. The Purple Mansion master looked at Xiaoying and said with a solemn face, "What do you think of him?" Xiaoying said that he's indeed a peerless genius. His 9 stars borrowed the power of the universe and were incomparably vast. In addition, he had many supreme techniques and divine powers before this. He's a peerless enemy. Hearing this, the people of the Purple Mansion were also shocked. Xiaoying was their sleeping Double Crown champion and was extremely terrifying. Now that even he said so, it was enough to show how terrifying Lin Xian was. It seemed like the pinnacle battle was coming. "Let's retreat out of the formation." These people retreated one after another. At the same time, the entire ancient city lit up with the formation. It guarded the buildings and palaces below. The people of the Han Dun clan also quickly retreated to a safe place. Only one figure was left. It was the Chaos Stone. He was still standing there. Lin Xian also turned his head and looked. He also saw the Chaos Stone and closed his eyes. "Is this the one who wants to challenge me?" He had not expected it to be a stone. However, this stone's aura was not ordinary. He could feel a trace of Emperor's aura from it. Is he from the Han Dun clan? He had originally thought that it was a powerhouse or a divine ancestor from the Han Dun clan. Now, it seemed like neither was the case. The aura from the other party was very mysterious. Could it be that he was about to become a quasi-emperor? But that shouldn't be the case. He did not feel any fatal danger. "Are you the one who wants to challenge me? Tell me your name." "I don't kill nameless people," Lin Xian said in a low voice. "Are you Lin Wuti?" Indeed, he was more arrogant than he had imagined. The Chaos Stone also said in a low voice, I'm a stone that separated heaven and earth. I've always stayed in the Hundun clan and can be considered a member of the Hundun clan. Lin Wudi, how dare you kill a peerless genius of the Hundun clan? How do you want to die? Lin Xian snorted coldly. Hundun Tian deserve to die. As for you, you're courting death. How dare you injure the people of the Divine Union? Do you think I'll let you go today? Lin Xian's current strength was formidable, and his Rinnegan was even more terrifying. When he arrived, he glanced at the Divine Union and saw that Bai Susu and the Crimson Dragon were injured. Furthermore, the aura of primal chaos it carried was extremely strong. It was the aura of this stone that made him angry. Today, you will fall here. I will let everyone know that the Divine Union is not to be challenged. Lin Xian exuded a powerful domineering aura. Then he took a step forward, and the power in his body exploded, sweeping through the 9 heavens. Chapter 53:27. Lin Xian's sword Qi soared into the sky, and the 9 stars behind him rotated slowly. Then, a sword slashed down like a star descending from the universe. It carried a vast power as it charged forward. What a terrifying power of heaven and earth! What kind of sword technique was this? The Thunder King was shocked when he sensed the power of the universe. You're courting death. Today is the day you die. The Chaos Stone roared. He was here to denounce Lin Xian, but the other party threatened to kill him the moment he arrived. How could he tolerate this? The chaotic aura on his body condensed, turning into a chaotic lightning bolt that charged forward. This chaotic lightning bolt carried the power to open up the universe, and it was very fast. In an instant, it reached the front and collided with the Starry Sky sword technique. With a clang, the starlight in the sky shook. However, Lin Xian's sword technique was terrifying. It had the power to destroy everything. It also had the vastness of the universe. Under the sword, the chaotic lightning was bent. Seeing that it was about to shatter, the chaos stone roared, and the chaotic lightning on his body became even more terrifying. It charged forward. It formed a chaotic net that enveloped the Starry Sky sword Qi. Finally, it sealed the sky, and then the two dissipated. Hundreds of black holes appeared in the sky, rising and falling, connecting to the starry sky outside. The surrounding people were shocked. A simple move from the two of them had the power to open up the universe. The young giants were terrified. They were no match for them at all. Even the other sacred lords sucked in a cold breath, because they realized that the two of them were not weaker than them at all. Even if they were to encounter such an attack, they would have to go all out. The two of them did not attack immediately after their attacks disappeared. Instead, they stared at each other. At this moment, Lin Xian moved again. With a wave of his arm, the starry sword Qi in the sky descended again. This time, it was even more terrifying. It was as if it had turned into a starry sky map that was vast and intertwined. These 9 stars were obtained by Lin Xian when he was comprehending in the core of the 9-star immortal platform. At the same time, he also created the Starry Sky sword technique. At this moment, the power was vast and boundless. The entire Starry Sky map was completely formed by sword Qi. It was indestructible and enveloped down. The chaotic light that filled the sky kept shattering. The surrounding people gasped. The Stone of Chaos was also extremely shocked. With a cold snort, he leaped into the air and charged forward. Its origin was not ordinary. It was a stone left behind when the world was created. Then, he was brought along by the Quasi-Emperor's side all year round, constantly being polished. His physique was truly terrifying. It was even stronger than the chaotic body. It was the strongest weapon in itself, so at this moment he turned into a stream of light and charged forward. When Leif Daudenier saw what was happening, he couldn't help but cry out in shock. What a powerful body! It seemed to surpass the primal chaos body. His saint body was on par with the nine-yang divine body, ranked behind the primal chaos body. But now, a stone was stronger than the chaotic body. How could he not be shocked? The fire Cheelin's expression was also solemn. If he were to face this attack, he would probably have to use all of his bloodline power. Otherwise, it would be difficult for him to resist. How did Lin Wuti block it? The nine-yang divine body could not block it at all. Will the opponent use Rinnegan? Once that power was used, it would be difficult to use it again in a short period of time. If this Chaos Stone had another trump card, Lin Xian would be in danger. Boom. The Chaos Stone was like a hot knife through butter. It charged forward and crashed into the starry sky map, piercing through it. Then, it quickly charged towards Lin Xian. This scene made countless people cry out in shock. Boom. A huge spatial crack appeared in the void. It was incomparably terrifying. The power that it emitted made the surrounding people vomit blood and retreat. Not good. They quickly fled. Even the divine ancestors were shocked. They opened their saint domains to block the remaining power. One could imagine that if they were hit directly, they would probably be pierced through immediately. Facing such an attack, Lin Xian did not dodge at all. Instead, he continued to wave his arm. The 9 stars in the sky continued to revolve. Then, they formed a straight line, as if they had turned into a starry divine sword that slashed down. 9 stars aligned. The vast sword Qi collided with the Chaos Stone. In the next moment, the front was swallowed by a black hole. It was incomparably black, like a giant abyss beast. The terrifying power rushed into the 9 heavens. The starry sky in the outer realm was torn to pieces. The surroundings were shocked. Fortunately, there was an array formation here. Otherwise, this attack would have turned Saint Origin ancient city into ashes. More and more black holes appeared in the sky, swallowing the 2 of them. Everyone's eyes widened. Had Lin Wuti blocked the attack? Could his sword Qi hurt the Chaos Stone? Everyone was very curious. In the next moment, they saw a stone flying out. It was the Chaos Stone. He was sent flying. Was he injured? Everyone looked over and found that there were no cracks on the Chaos Stone. This shocked them. On the other side, Lin Xian charged out of the black hole. At this moment, the starlight on his body disappeared and was replaced by pitch-black demonic Qi. His palm formed a demonic seal and charged forward. At this moment, it turned into a demon god. The Chaos Stone roared and formed a chaotic vortex that charged forward. The 2 collided and retreated. Lin Xian charged again. At this moment, a demonic face formed on the seal. It was abnormally ferocious. There was a loud boom. The Chaos Stone collided with it and was shaken. The 2 of them retreated again. Lin Xian charged again. This time, it formed demonic horns. The 3rd move formed demonic wings. The demonic patterns on the demon god seal became more and more realistic. At the 5th move, the Chaos Stone was finally sent flying. At this moment, behind the Chaos Stone, the void within thousands of miles turned into nothingness. Seeing this, everyone was shocked. The fire Cheelin had a grave expression. The Chaos Stone would probably not be able to hold on much longer. Although his physique was strong, it was not invincible. Lin Wuti's seal was really terrifying. This should be a Thearka's ability. Lin Xian attacked again. This time, 4 demonic patterns appeared on the demon god seal. Each of them was lifelike and surrounded the demon god seal. It was earth-shattering and its power had increased exponentially. In the next moment, the Chaos Stone was sent flying. The chaos light on it dimmed a little. When the beings of the Hundun race caught sight of this, they started getting nervous as well. The people of the Divine Union cheered. This was great. The Chaos Stone roared and charged out once again. Its body kept expanding as though it had turned into a chaotic millstone. It kept spinning and crushing the world. Suddenly, the universe was shattered, and the surrounding people were sent flying while vomiting blood. Some people's bodies cracked under this suppressive power. Damn it, what a terrifying power. The Chaos Stone was about to use its ultimate skill. Run. In an instant, everyone retreated. Even the sacred tribe members felt their blood boiling. Some of them even vomited blood. Would Lin Xian be able to withstand such an attack? Chapter 53:28. Facing such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian's expression was also extremely solemn. In the next moment, he attacked. Demon God Sword. The black demon sword descended from the sky and flickered in the air. It was also a powerful Great Emperor divine ability in the illusion demon scripture. This sword seemed to have transformed into a demonic dragon and collided with the chaos millstone tens of thousands of times in an instant. Countless cracks were left in the sky. The two kept colliding, fighting from the sky to the nine heavens. Lin Xian's swordsmanship was terrifying. As he moved, the void shattered continuously. One could imagine how terrifying this sword chi was. At the same time, his left hand used the demon god finger again. He pointed out with his finger, like a meteor shower. It charged towards the Chaos Stone. An earth-shattering sound was heard. With a bang, the Chaos Stone was sent flying again. The Chaos Millstone was suppressed. This peerless divine ability that could shatter the universe couldn't do anything to Lin Wuti. Everyone was shocked. Lin Xian pointed his sword forward. What other methods did he have? Show them all. The Chaos Stone flew over from afar. The chaotic aura on his body became more and more terrifying. Chaos Heaven transformation. At this moment, he was no longer a millstone that destroyed the world. Instead, he had transformed into a world. He pressed down towards Lin Xian. This power was even more terrifying than before. Lin Xian snorted coldly. His eyes flickered with extremely terrifying reincarnation power. 6 paths of reincarnation. Heavenly Tao, hand of heaven. The illusion of the 6 paths of reincarnation appeared. At the same time, a huge hand descended from the 9 heavens. This hand seemed to represent the heavenly Tao. This strike pierced through the sky and directly pierced through the chaotic sky. In the next moment, the Chaos Stone was directly pressed to the ground by this palm. With a bang, the entire Holy Abyss ancient city shook violently. The nearby array formation shattered, and the surrounding people's chi and blood surged. They looked at this scene in disbelief. Was it suppressed? This was too shocking. Every divine ability that was displayed by the Chaos Stone was incomparably terrifying. The other divine ancestors were no match for it. However, after encountering Lin Wuti, they were always at a disadvantage. Even now, Lin Wuti had broken many of their divine abilities and suppressed them with a single palm. At this moment, the expressions of those divine ancestors became ugly. Had Lin Wuti grown to such an extent, even the Chaos Stone was no match for him. Who would be able to suppress him then? It would be difficult for the other Double Crown champions. Could it be that only the Triple Crown champions would be able to suppress him? In the era when the Triple Crown King did not appear, the other party was a supreme being. Those from the Purple Mansion had ugly expressions on their faces. Those from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were gritting their teeth, so hard that they almost broke. The people of the Primal Chaos race roared even louder. They couldn't believe it. Even the Stone of Primal Chaos was defeated. On the other side, the members of the Divine Union cheered excitedly. Lin Gongzi was invincible. He won. Bai Susu and the others chuckled as well. The corner of Murong Qingqing's mouth raised. Brother Xian's strength had become even stronger than before, regardless of whether it was his soul or his swordsmanship. Both had risen to a whole new level. Was he already this terrifying? Kun Pengzi was shocked. Gu Feng's expression was even more solemn, while Qilin's face was incomparably gloomy. But at this moment, his brows twitched. No, it's not sealed. I can feel an even stronger chaos energy. Just as he finished speaking, the ground below split open, and a figure directly charged up into the air. It's out. The people of the primal chaos race were delighted. The others were also surprised. Had he not been defeated yet? It seemed like they had underestimated the stone of primal chaos. At this moment, the stone of primal chaos had transformed into its normal form and was floating between heaven and earth. Countless great Daos were intertwined on it. At the same time, a figure was sitting cross-legged on it. It was an extremely hazy figure. The figure's face couldn't be seen clearly, but the aura it carried had a trace of Emperor's might. Everyone was shocked. This was the figure of a quasi-emperor. That's right. The stone of primal chaos carried the cultivation of a quasi-emperor. After so many years, the mark of a quasi-emperor had long been left behind. Now he had used the mark. This was a supreme emperor's might that was above all saints. At this moment, even the sacred race were terrified. They seemed to have been suppressed. The stone of primal chaos gritted its teeth and said, Lin Wudi, I have indeed underestimated you. You can actually suppress me. Unfortunately, you are still going to lose this battle. I use the might of a quasi-emperor. It's not something you can imagine. Today, unless the Triple Crown King comes, no one is my match. A cold voice spread in all directions. The other Double Crown Kings also frowned. The phantom of a quasi-emperor was exuding an unparalleled emperor's might. It was indeed a fatal threat to them. Was this the stone of primal chaos' strongest trump card? Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. The phantom of a quasi-emperor? So what? I can only say that you are not qualified to kill me. Stupid thing, I will let you know what despair is. The stone of primal chaos snorted coldly, and the aura on its body became even more terrifying. At the same time, the figure sitting cross-legged on top of him extended a hand and made a grabbing motion, the hand of primal chaos god. This attack could turn heaven and earth upside down. Its power made the sacred lords tremble. It was too powerful. Was this the power of a quasi-emperor? It definitely surpassed everything. How was Lin Wudi going to block it? Seeing this scene, the Fire Qilin laughed. 1,000 dragons greeting Long Wu, and the others said, if Lin Wudi uses an extreme weapon or the corpse of a quasi-emperor, then we will directly use the 1,000 Dragons portrait. I will also contact the Gu family and the others to use extreme weapons together. When the time comes, he will definitely die without a burial place. Obviously, these people had already made up their minds. As long as Lin Xian used an extreme weapon, they would definitely not hold back. Facing the attack of the quasi-emperor phantom, Lin Xian stood there and did not move. He did not use the heaven-devouring jar, but the demonic qi on his body was even more terrifying. At the same time, a demonic phantom also appeared behind him. Then it pointed a finger. This finger pierced through the sky. Everyone felt as if time was flowing backward, as if the primordial era had descended. With a clang, the two collided. They were evenly matched. With the two of them as the center, the entire sky split into two. Had they blocked it? Countless people were shocked. The people of the Primal Chaos tribe did not dare to believe it. The Crimson Dragon and the others were even more shocked. They knew how terrifying the demonic phantom summoned by the demon summoning scripture was. The Stone of Primal Chaos was also surprised. It seemed that the Emperor's ancient scripture was also extraordinary. It could actually summon a demonic phantom. But so what? Your Emperor is already dead, and my quasi-Emperor is still alive. No matter how powerful a dead person was, he could not be compared to a living person. The Stone of Primal Chaos had infinite confidence. The quasi-emperor phantom that he summoned was a living quasi-emperor. After thousands of years, the aura that had been left on his body was the most powerful. It was far from what the other party's cultivation technique could compare to. Thinking of this, the Stone of Primal Chaos shouted coldly. The quasi-emperor phantom on his back attacked again. One palm after another, it was earth-shattering. The terrifying palm completely enveloped Lin Xian. Chapter 53:29. The demonic qi on Lin Xian's body was monstrous, forming an extremely terrifying defensive shield. It blocked these terrifying attacks. At the same time, he said coldly, it was just an illusion of a quasi-emperor. Whether it was alive or dead, it couldn't be compared to a true great emperor. Next, I'll let you know what the true might of a great emperor is. Lin Xian formed a seal with his palms and activated the illusion demon scripture stone to the extreme. At this moment, the demonic shadow behind him became more and more realistic, as if it had crossed through time and space. The 9 heavens and 10 lands shook, and everyone had to crawl. This power was too terrifying. They looked ahead, their faces full of shock. The Fire Qilin roared angrily and used his imperial bloodline with all his might. The other Double Crown champions also used their methods. They looked at the demonic shadow in horror. Boom! In the next moment, the demonic shadow attacked. He took the demonic sword in Lin Xian's hand and slashed forward. With a boom, this sword split heaven and earth, shattering the universe. Nothing could stop it. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they were extremely shocked. Some sacred lords clenched their fists in excitement. This was the real great emperor. Although it was just an illusion, it was a dead illusion. It was definitely terrifying. Nothing could stop them. These people cultivated in pursuit of the supreme realm of a great emperor, but they couldn't even reach the quasi-emperor realm. Now that they saw the might of a great emperor, how could they not be excited? The chaos stone was sent flying, and the quasi-emperor illusion on it also dimmed. It was as if it would disappear at any moment. No, he roared crazily, unable to accept this. The people of the Hundun tribe were also extremely nervous. How could this be? Could it be that even the Chaos Stone couldn't suppress Lin Wuti? The other powerhouses' expressions were even worse. Should they? At this time, they used an extreme weapon to sneak attack Lin Wuti. After all, Lin Wuti was really too powerful now. There weren't many Double Crown champions who could suppress him, not to mention defeating him. If this continued, no one would be a match for him unless the Triple Crown champions appeared. If he continued to grow, then he would really become a great emperor. Once he became a great emperor, he would be everyone's nightmare. All of them who were his enemies would probably be reduced to ashes. Damn it! The Stone of Chaos roared and pushed with all its might, causing the figure of the quasi-emperor to appear once again. Lin Xian shook his head. The difference between a quasi-emperor and a great emperor was only one word, but the difference between them was like heaven and earth. Your phantom shadow is no match for Mo-ing. Furthermore, this demonic shadow is only one of my trump cards. I still have other trump cards that I haven't used yet. Therefore, you have lost this battle. Damn it! How many millennia has my image been a quasi-venerate? As for your devil shadow, you were the one who summoned it. I don't believe that your devil shadow can last for long. The Chaos Stone roared furiously. As long as he could hold on, the other party would be powerless. In that case, he would win. In the next moment, he roared and attacked with all his might. The two phantoms fought. Lin Xian's expression was ice cold. The demonic god shadow split open the sky, forcing the Chaos Stone to retreat. The next moment, Another sword strike shattered the quasi-emperor phantom. The demonic shadow also disappeared. Both of them disappeared at the same time, which shocked countless people. However, Lin Xian's expression was incomparably calm. The demonic shadow is gone, but I still have other methods. Do you want to feel the power of the Samsara sword? At this point, the power of Samsara in Lin Xian's right eye became extremely terrifying. The souls of the others were suppressed. Legend had it that the Samsara eye could summon the Samsara sword. Previously, when he was fighting against Hun Tian, Lin Wudi had summoned the phantom of the Samsara sword. The power of the sword had spread throughout the universe. Now, was he going to use such a supreme technique in front of them again? If the Chaos Stone didn't have any other methods, he would probably be defeated. Heavens, who would have thought that the Chaos Stone, who had accompanied a quasi-emperor all year round, would be defeated? Could it be that a quasi-emperor had to make a move to kill Lin Wudi? Exclamations of surprise sounded one after another. The people of the Chaos race were also extremely nervous. Did the Chaos Stone have other methods? They didn't know because they usually didn't see the Chaos Stone at all. The Chaos Stone's expression was extremely ugly. The quasi-emperor phantom had been shattered by the other party. Now that the other party was going to use the Rinnegan, it seemed that he could only use his strongest method. Lin Wudi, I originally didn't want to use this method, but since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. The Chaos Stone had other methods? What was it? They all widened their eyes and looked carefully. Some blood-colored marks suddenly appeared on the Chaos Stone, then condensed into a drop of blood. It spun in the air. The 9 heavens and 10 lands were shattering. The surrounding people also felt as if they were struck by lightning. The blood of a quasi-emperor. The Chaos Stone actually contained the blood of a quasi-emperor? It was too unbelievable. Countless people roared in horror. A drop of a saint's blood could break the sky and turn people below the saint into ashes. And a drop of a quasi-emperor's blood could destroy countless worlds. A quasi-emperor was an existence that completely surpassed the divine ancestor. A drop of blood was enough to kill everything. The quasi-emperor's blood spun in the air with a mysterious aura. The Chaos Stone shook violently. He said coldly, "You can die in peace." He knew that no one could stop the son-in-law of a quasi-emperor. Lin Xian's expression also became incomparably solemn. He also felt the danger. This quasi-emperor's blood was enough to tear his 9-yang divine body into pieces. He no longer delayed and used his Rinnegan with all his might. In the sky, an eye of reincarnation appeared, looking down on the world. In that eye, there was a sword shadow. As soon as he appeared, everyone felt the power of reincarnation. It was too unbelievable. Was this the reincarnation sword? Although it was only an illusion of the reincarnation sword, it was already extremely terrifying. Slash. Lin Xian roared, his face pale. With his strength, he could only use the reincarnation sword once. He would not hold back. The illusion of reincarnation in the sky slashed down from the sky, and the surrounding people all retreated frantically. If they were hit, the 6 paths of reincarnation would no longer exist. The Chaos Stone roared angrily, "Kill." He controlled the quasi-emperor's blood and charged out. A drop of blood was not even the size of a fingernail, but no one dared to underestimate the power it carried. Boom. Finally, the two collided in the air, setting off a monstrous storm. Half of it turned into a sea of blood, surging crazily. The other half was the 6 paths of reincarnation, and the two forces were in a stalemate. The Chaos Stone roared crazily, "Kill! Kill!" The terrifying quasi-emperor's blood erupted, forming a monstrous sea of blood that swept forward. It engulfed the reincarnation sword. On the other hand, the reincarnation sword was like a giant dragon, directly shattering everything. The two fought again. and the vast power engulfed everything. At this moment, everyone was pushed far away. Even the sacred lords and the double-crowned king were shocked. Who would win this battle? However, although you defeated the Chaos Stone this time, you still have to be careful. Based on what I know, there is indeed a Triple Crown champion in the Purple Mansion. The Purple Mansion? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. The Yi family's sacred leader nodded. The Triple Crown champion was an even more terrifying existence. The Chaos Stone couldn't compare to him. Even with the Quasi-Emperor blood, he might not be able to defeat the Triple Crown champion. Hearing this, the surrounding people sucked in a breath of cold air. How terrifying was the Triple Crown champion? Lin Xian's eyes also flickered. Although the Triple Crown champion was in the Purple Mansion, he was still in a deep sleep. Furthermore, he hadn't come out yet. He probably wouldn't come out yet. Besides, give me some time, and I can also try for the Triple Crown champion. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with boundless confidence. The Yi family's divine ancestor nodded. Then he said, "It's fine. Wu Dao will also become stronger in the future. When the time comes, you can join forces." Hearing this, Lin Xian was also surprised. Wu Dao had a fortuitous encounter? Yi Wu Dao said, "Brother Lin, I'm afraid I have to go into seclusion for a while. When I come out, I will definitely give you a surprise." With that, he waved his hand and left with the Yi family's divine ancestor. Lin Xian was surprised when he heard this. Yan Ryu also walked over. The Yi family was not ordinary. They were extremely terrifying in the Great Emperor family. The Great Emperor of the Yi family was known as the Heavenly Emperor back then. His methods were definitely terrifying. The Yi family must have left some trump cards, but Yi Wudao was too proud to use them. Now, it seemed that he had to use those trump cards. Lin Xian sucked in a breath of cold air after hearing this. It seemed that the foundation of the monarch family wasn't just limited to this. He asked, how is the Heavenly Emperor of the Yi family compared to the Indra of the Yuhua immortal dynasty? Sakra. He had once seen an illusion that easily suppressed a living quasi-emperor. That was really a domineering aura. Moreover, it was said that the Indra wanted to use his strength to make the entire Yuhua immortal dynasty ascend to immortality. He was definitely an extremely terrifying figure. Chapter 53:31. Yan Ryu shook his head and said, I don't know the details either. However, based on the title of the Heavenly Emperor, he might really be someone who could compete with the Sakra. Lin Xian was also surprised when he heard this. He took a deep breath. When would he become an Emperor Lord? Would he have the chance to compete with such a person? Next, Lin Xian gathered the people of the Divine Union. The Divine Union was much bigger than before, and there were countless genius disciples. Lin Xian decided to pass down some mystic techniques to the Divine Union for future generations to cultivate. Although he was a young genius, he wasn't any weaker than the older generation of sacred masters. Furthermore, he possessed the great dragon sword soul, which could evolve everything. He had also experienced countless battles and was naturally very experienced. Therefore, he could definitely create his own path. Lin Xian created a body tempering technique called the Myriad Flames Body Tempering Technique, which used various kinds of flames to strengthen one's body. At the same time, he created a spiritual element called the Imperial Spirit Technique. He also left behind a set of sword techniques called the True Spirit Sword Technique. These three mystic techniques were very terrifying. The people of the Divine Union were also very excited. They were too strong, and they were overjoyed. Lin Xian gathered by Susu, the Crimson Dragon, and the others together and took out many spirit medicines from the sword world for them to consume. Bai Susu and the others widened their eyes. These spirit medicines. They were really shocked. Where did he get them from? There was a mysterious aura on them. Could he have gotten them from the Forbidden Death Zones? There were no spirit medicines with such power outside. Lin Xian smiled and quickly refined some elixirs to consume. He wanted to become the double champion as soon as possible. This was great. Bai Susu, the Crimson Dragon, and the others clenched their fists. Yan Ruyu and the Morong Qingcheng naturally obtained many of these spirit medicines as well. Their beautiful eyes also flickered with light. Double Crown Champion? They were looking forward to it. Given their current strength, they were already very close to becoming the double champion. Next, everyone started to cultivate in seclusion in order to become the double champion. Lin Xian also continued to comprehend his 9-star sword art. On the other side, the Yuhua ancient city was also shocked when they received the news. Was Lin Wuti so terrifying? Those Immortal Foundation experts were shocked. On the other hand, the 9-star Immortal platforms were delighted. They were now standing on the side of the Divine Union. They were naturally happy that Lin Xian was strong. As for the opposing Immortal Foundation experts, their brows were tightly furrowed. The people from the Origin Magnetic Immortal Foundation gritted their teeth. How despicable! Originally, they were planning to find a suitable opportunity to attack Lin Xian again and snatch back their ancestor's corpse. From the looks of it now, it was simply impossible. I can help you. At this moment, a voice rang out. The pupils of the Origin Magnet Palace master shrank. Who was it? The surrounding elders also looked as if they were facing a great enemy. In the next moment, they saw a spatial crack appear in the void. Then, a man dressed in plain clothes walked out. It's you. When they saw the other party, they frowned. You're that Yao Guang? What are you doing here? You want to make a move against us Immortal Foundation experts? They were extremely vigilant, although they had no enmity with this person. It was rumored that this person cultivated the demonic heaven-devouring technique. Naturally, they didn't dare to be careless. Yao Guang said, I'm here to cooperate with you because we have a common enemy. Common enemy? The Hall Master frowned. Are you talking about Lin Wuti? Although you're strong and have cultivated a taboo martial art, you're no match for Lin Wuti, right? Is that so? How dare you look down on me? Yao Guang sneered. In the next moment, an extremely terrifying aura appeared on his body. It was the power of primal chaos, capable of splitting heaven and earth. At this moment, Yao Guang seemed to have turned into a god of primal chaos. A punch was thrown. The primal chaos hall master roared and struck out with his palm. With a loud boom, the two collided. They were actually evenly matched. How could this be? The Origin Magnet Palace master was shocked. You're using the power of primal chaos. How could you possess such power? Could it be that you've swallowed the primal chaos body? They were really shocked. Some time ago, the primal chaos body's corpse had disappeared. It had been snatched away by a mysterious person. They had countless guesses, but they hadn't expected Yao Guang to have obtained it. And from the looks of it, Yao Guang had already devoured it. Yao Guang was also delighted. This was the power of the primal chaos physique. It was indeed powerful. He had only devoured half of it because the power of this physique was really too strong. This was a super strong physique that was ranked in the top 10 in the universe. It was ranked higher than the sacred physique and the 9-yang divine physique. He couldn't completely devour such power in a short time. However, devouring half of it had already made his strength undergo an earth-shattering change. When it was completely devoured, he could definitely become the Triple Crown champion in one fell swoop. That's right. Yao Guang smiled and nodded. The surrounding elders were shocked. The Origin Magnet Palace master also sucked in a breath of cold air. With such strength, he could definitely compete with Lin Wudi. However, Lin Wudi had the divine union behind him. He also had the support of a boundary emperor. It was impossible for them to make a move. At this moment, Yao Guang's body once again emitted a mysterious aura. It was a vortex with a trace of terrifying emperor aura emerging from it. As soon as this power appeared, the elders all knelt on the ground in fear. The Origin Magnet Palace Master's body also trembled, his face full of horror. This was the power of a boundary emperor. Impossible! How do you possess such power? Yao Guang said, "No need to guess. I'll tell you, I'm not a boundary emperor. However, I also have a boundary emperor behind me. Now, do you think I can join forces with you?" There was actually a boundary emperor behind Yao Guang. The Origin Magnet Palace Master was also shocked. He now understood how the other party could obtain the chaotic physique. It turned out that there was an expert behind him. They said, "Young Master Yao Guang, please forgive us for our previous offense. Please take a seat." They respectfully invited Yao Guang in. Yao Guang's strength was enough to shock them. Now that he had a boundary emperor, he was enough to become their guest of honor. Next, the Origin Magnet Palace Master and a few core elders walked in and conspired with Yao Guang. Yao Guang didn't hide anything from these people. He said, "This boundary emperor of mine is injured and is not in peak condition. Therefore, he needs some resources to recover. Of course, he won't let you provide it for free. He can pass down some boundary emperor techniques for your people to cultivate." "Really? That's great. We'll provide the boundary emperor with power." The Origin Magnet Palace Master and the others were also delighted. They wouldn't lose out at all in such a deal. Both sides reached an agreement and prepared to take action. At this moment, an old voice sounded. It was the 9 Firmament Boundary Emperor. He said, "When will the dragon transformation trial start?" Hearing this, the Origin Magnet Palace Master's pupils shrank. He was really too shocked. Chapter 5332. What was the dragon transformation trial? Even light-shaking realm cultivators didn't know. However, the pupils of the Yuan Magnet Palace Master abruptly shrank as a look of shock appeared on his face. Quasi-Emperor Jiu Shao said with a smile, "As a Quasi-Emperor, do you think it is possible that I do not even know about the dragon transformation battle?" "That's true." The Elemental Magnet Palace Master nodded his head. The battle of dragon transformation had not yet begun, but it would be soon. What was the dragon transformation trial? Yao Guang asked. She was extremely puzzled. The dragon transformation battle was a battle that took place once every 10,000 years. Everyone below the Quasi-Emperor realm could participate. Then they would be ranked according to the dragon transformation ranking, and the first place would receive a boundless reward. These rewards were left behind by the great emperor. Yao Guang was even more shocked. She asked, "Why didn't you tell me before?" The 9th Firmament Quasi-Emperor said that there was still time. "It's not too late for you to know." Treasures left behind by the great emperor? Yao Guang clenched her fists. Then he had to participate, and he had to get first place. "All right, hurry up and prepare. I will impart to you a few absolute arts, so that your Immortal Foundation experts can also participate in this battle station." "Thank you, Lord Quasi-Emperor." The Immortal Foundation experts were all extremely happy. The Elemental Magnetism Palace Master hurriedly bowed. Those who could participate in the Dragon Transformation Battle were all incredible sacred ancestors. This battle was extremely top-notch. Anyone below the Boundary Emperor realm could participate. However, generally speaking, one had to have at least the battle prowess of a sacred ancestor. Furthermore, in the younger generation, it was impossible to participate unless one reached the level of a hegemon. At the very least, he would have a high chance of winning the double crown. Moreover, this battle was not only suitable for youngsters, but also for veteran Saint Lords, as long as he was not older than 5,000 years old. After these people left, the Ninth Firmament Quasi-Emperor said, "You have to be careful. Your enemy is not just Lin Wuti." What did he mean? Yao Guang asked. Was there anyone else who could threaten him? Now that he had swallowed the primal chaos body, his strength had increased tremendously. Naturally, he was very confident. The Ninth Firmament Quasi-Emperor said that he did not know if the people from those places would participate. If you do, you have to be very careful. Where are those places? Yao Guang was curious. The Ninth Firmament Quasi-Emperor shook his head. If those people came out, you would naturally know. If they did not come out, there was no need for you to know. As he spoke, his soul appeared, and he looked into the distance. No one knew what he was thinking. Yao Guang was surprised. Apart from Lin Wuti, the only one who could threaten him was the Triple Crown champion of Zifu. Other than that, there were also some slumbering double champions. However, he was confident that he could sweep through everything, so he really didn't understand where that place was. For the next period of time, the atmosphere gradually quietened down. The various immortal foundations were already preparing in secret. They knew that the battle of the dragon transformation was about to begin. It wasn't just them. Those emperor clans and some desolate ancient families were also doing their best to gather people preparing to participate. Lin Xian began to cultivate. However, on this day, a piece of news shocked the Divine Union. It even alarmed Lin Xian. The news came from the Longevity Hall and the Fire God Palace. Because their sects had been attacked, many of them had been injured. There were even elders who had fallen. Run. These people quickly ran away. They fled towards Holy Abyss City. The Longevity Temple Master personally came to report that Lin Gongzi was in trouble. Lin Xian came out of seclusion and asked, "Everyone, what exactly happened?" These were all sacred ancestors, so how could they be in such a sorry state? The temple master of the Longevity Temple said that a creature had come out of Mount Eternal and was attacking us. We were no match for it. What? Lin Xian's pupil shrank when he heard that. The others were also shocked. This was impossible. Wasn't Mount Eternal a forbidden land of death? How could someone come out? Could it be that someone was living inside? This was absolutely impossible. They were all crazy. However, the people from the Fire God Palace also came. They also suffered heavy losses. Not good. No one knew what had happened in Mount Eternal, but many figures came out of it. Everyone's scalp went numb when they heard that. Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. He knew that something had happened in Mount Eternal. It was definitely something he hadn't expected. Let's go and take a look. At this moment, many families and sects in Mount Eternal had been destroyed. Those from the powerful Longevity Palace and Fire God Palace fled at the first moment. However, there was one family that didn't escape. It was the Gu family. The Gu family was also in the nearby area. On this day, they also felt as if they were facing a great enemy. Suddenly, a powerful living creature came out of Mount Eternal and swept everything away. Many family tablets were destroyed, and these people were actually walking towards the Gu family. Some of the Gu family's disciples and elders outside were also attacked. Someone actually died. In the family, soul tablets were shattered one after another, which made the Gu family furious. The Gu family's patriarch was a middle-aged man with a white face and no beard. He looked like a scholar. However, at this moment, he was furious. His body emitted a vast, holy aura. Who was it? He brought countless elders and soared into the sky. At the same time, a group of people also appeared outside the Gu family. It was a group of people wearing black robes and black armor. These people had black flames dancing on their bodies. It was abnormally strange. Feeling this terrifying aura, The Gu family's elders felt their scalps go numb. The Gu family's patriarch shouted coldly, "Who are you people? How dare you attack the Gu family? Do you want to die? Is the Gu family very powerful?" The man in front was wearing armor and holding a black spear. He stabbed the spear over. The sky fell, and the earth cracked. The Gu family's people were forced to retreat. They quickly tore open the void and fled. At the same time, the Gu family's patriarch shouted angrily, "Activate the void mirror." He naturally felt the danger. The void mirror floated in the sky, and everyone activated it together. It emitted a terrifying aura. The black-armored figures at the front were also frowning. "Extreme weapon, you are a great emperor's family." That's right, the Gu family is the descendant of the Void Emperor. A cold snort sounded. The black-armored figures in front of them were also surprised. "Since you are a great emperor's family, we will spare you this time. Let's go." The man in the lead waved his hand, and these people turned into black flames and soared into the sky. Did they leave? Seeing these people leave, the Gu family's people heaved a sigh of relief. Great. Our great emperor's family is still the most powerful. However, the clan leader of the Gu clan tightly frowned. Where did these people come from? Only by taking out an extreme weapon could he scare these people away. If they didn't have an extreme weapon, their country would really be in danger. Moreover, the other party was from Mount Eternal. They never knew that there were living creatures in Mount Eternal. What was going on? What happened on Mount Eternal? The elders were also surprised. Suddenly, the Gu family's patriarch's pupils shrank. Could it be? He suddenly turned around, tore open the void, and flew toward the family's ancient palace. Could it be that the patriarch had discovered something? The other elders also followed suit. In the next moment, they arrived at an ancient palace. This was a void palace, as if it didn't exist in any space. Many of the elders stopped, not daring to enter. This was because only the patriarchs of each generation could enter this palace. Chapter 53:33. Only members of the Gu family could enter the Void Hall. It was very mysterious inside. There was a statue of the Void Emperor. There were also various information left behind by the Void Emperor, as well as various scrolls and cultivation techniques left behind by the previous patriarchs. In short, it contained the supreme secret of the Void Emperor's family. At this moment, the patriarch of the Gu family had arrived at the Void Hall. He kept searching the bookshelves, searching one scroll after another. Suddenly, he stopped with a blue scroll in his hand. Then, he carefully opened it. This scroll was left behind by the Void Emperor himself. It carried a vast emperor's aura. Ordinary sacred clans couldn't read it at all. However, the Gu family had the bloodline of the Void Emperor. At this moment, the Hall Master fully activated his bloodline and dripped his sacred blood on the scroll. Only then did the terrifying emperor's aura disappear. The patriarch of the Gu family hurriedly opened the scroll and read it carefully. In the next moment, his hands began to tremble. An undying and indestructible existence? Damn it, this legend was actually true. Legend had it that the Void Emperor had once entered Mount Eternal. When he came out, he opened up a territory near Mount Eternal. He also left behind a Void Emperor-level formation here. He said that his descendants could reproduce here in the future. As for what the Void Emperor got from Mount Eternal, what happened? No one knew. However, the Void Emperor left behind a scroll in his later years. Only the patriarchs of the past could read it. The information recorded in the scroll was that there were living creatures in Mount Eternal. The Void Emperor used the words immortal to describe the creatures in Mount Eternal. This shocked the patriarchs of the past. Was there really someone who could achieve immortality? And now, there were people who came out of Mount Eternal, and it was a group of people. Were these people all immortal and indestructible? The patriarch of the Gu family couldn't believe it, but no matter what, he knew that an earth-shattering change had occurred in Mount Eternal. He frowned. Could it be related to the dragon transformation battle? But no one had come out of Mount Eternal in the previous dragon transformation battle. It was really unbelievable. When Lin Xian and the others arrived, their brows were also tightly knitted. They felt that there was a remnant aura. This aura? Did someone use an extreme weapon? The Crimson Dragon gasped. Murong Qingcheng also frowned. She had said that it should be the power of the Void Realm. Could it be that those people had also attacked the Gu family? It was too unbelievable. The Gu clan was a great emperor clan, a supreme existence. As long as they had an extreme Dao weapon, it was impossible for the emperor clan to be destroyed. However, despite this being the case, there was actually someone who dared to attack an emperor clan. It was just too shocking. Lin Gongzi, I'm afraid some of us have been suppressed by them. The Longevity Temple Master frowned. On the other side, the Fire God Palace Master's face turned ugly. Many of us didn't manage to escape in time. Let's go and take a look. Lin Xian and the others continued their journey. At this time, they saw a huge black flame in front of them. It formed a cage and danced in the air. There were many figures in the cage. They were the experts from the clans and sects of the Eternal Mountain region. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air when they saw this. This was too terrifying. Who on earth had done this? Lin Xian's eyes shone with a terrifying radiance. He looked at the cage in front of him. Suddenly, he was taken aback. He saw a familiar figure. Hulinglong, the genius of the Fire God Palace. How are you? Are you all right? In the black cage, countless people were in despair. Hulinglong was the same. Her beautiful eyes had lost their luster. Previously, the Fire God Palace had suddenly suffered an inexplicable attack. Many elders were instantly pierced through. Then, the force made them feel despair. The Fire God Palace Master made a prompt decision to let everyone escape. Everyone flew in all directions. However, Hulinglong's luck was not good. She was stopped by someone. She was stopped by a group of people. Next, she was sealed in the cage with the other people who had been suppressed. They didn't know what the other party wanted to do. However, it seemed that the other party wanted to bring them into Mount Eternal. If that was the case, they would probably end up in a miserable state. Mount Eternal was a forbidden land of death. At this time, a voice rang in Hulinglong's ears. Are you all right? Hulinglong was stunned when she heard the voice. In the next moment, she looked around excitedly. Her eyes had regained their luster. She could tell that it was Lin Xian's voice. Was Lin Gongzi here? Was he here to save her? She was overjoyed. In the next moment, she shook her head. Lin Gongzi, leave quickly. These people are too terrifying. This has something to do with Mount Eternal. You can't save me. Indeed, even their palace master didn't dare to resist and immediately escaped. One could imagine how terrifying those people were. Who were they? At this time, there was a figure in a black robe near the black cage. In the next moment, he turned around. Terrifying flames quickly flew into the distance. The void instantly shattered. It couldn't withstand the force. Not good. Lin Gongzi, leave quickly. Hulinglong shouted with all her might. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. He was discovered. He didn't escape. Instead, he charged out. He clenched his right fist. His fist turned into a sun and charged out. It shattered the black flames. Flames danced in the sky. The void was pierced. Chapter 53:34. The people in the black cage were also terrified. They looked at Lin Xian. Isn't he going to dodge? Another attack came from the front. A black palm came at Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. A sword light appeared in his hand. Shura's sword. This was a sure kill move, a move that came out of nowhere. As soon as the sword light appeared, it strangely disappeared. When it reappeared, it had already kicked the opponent. With a puff, the person was split in half. The others were stunned when they saw this scene. The people in the cage were also terrified. What kind of sword technique was this? One had to know that they had all fought with this black-robed man before. So many of them were easily killed by him. It was enough to show how terrifying this black-robed man was. However, such a terrifying person was easily split in half. It was really shocking. There's an enemy. Come quickly. In the distance, another 4 black-robed men rushed out. They attacked in a frenzy. Lin Xian slashed out with his sword. A sky full of starlight attacked the black cage. The sword Qi tore the black cage apart. Hua Linglong and the others were delighted when they saw this scene. They quickly ran away. They quickly attacked and blasted open the cage, then rushed out to kill their way out. Suppress them. Don't let any of them go. The 4 black-robed men stretched out their big hands. The sky full of black flames formed an even more terrifying cage. It covered the sky and earth and sealed the entire world. Even Lin Xian was sealed within. The rest of the people were in despair. They all turned to look at Lin Xian, thinking that he was probably the only one capable of fighting back. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He withdrew his fist and punched out a terrifying demon god fist that swept in all directions. The cage was shattered. Then he walked out again. The Shura sword technique kept harvesting. For heads flew. 2 of their souls were destroyed, and 1 was torn into pieces. The last person quickly escaped. That person roared at the sky and drew a black beam of light that pierced through the sky. At the same time, a terrifying aura came from Mount Eternal in the distance. Another figure appeared. This time, the one walking in front was a demonic man. He carried a black saber on his back and wore black armor as he strode through the air. The moment he appeared, he let out a cold shout. A mysterious rune appeared between his brows and spread out in all directions. The people who had died earlier had recovered once again. Their faces were pale as they knelt on one knee. Greetings to the 7th emissary. We did not do our job well. Please punish us. Get up, the devilish black-armored man said coldly. At the same time, he raised his head and looked ahead, his eyes flashing with a mysterious light. Kneel down and submit, or I'll make sure you die without a burial place. Feeling the terrifying aura from the other party, the people at the front felt their scalps go numb. Linglong was said, "What makes you think you can suppress us?" Number 7 narrowed his eyes as he looked ahead. A rose with thorns? Very well, I won't kill you later. I'll bring you back. As for the others, they could all go to hell. With a wave of his hand, a black saber appeared on his back, and he slashed forward. Before the saber arrived, the bodies of the people in front had already cracked. This saber was too terrifying. Even if all of them worked together, they would not be able to resist it. This powerhouse from Mount Eternal was too terrifying. Lin Xian's face was even gloomier. He also struck out with his sword. 9 stars alignment. The saber and sword collided. Cracks appeared between heaven and earth as sparks flew. Then both parties retreated. Lin Xian was surprised that the other party could block his sword technique. It was really unbelievable. Although the 9 stars alignment was not a great emperor's ability, it was a self-created ability that was most suitable for him. Ordinary sacred ancestors could not block it, but the other party did. Was this a powerhouse from Mount Eternal? He was indeed strong. On the other side, the 7th emissary was even more shocked. One had to know his identity. He was someone who had walked out of the forbidden land of death. He was an expert who had been personally nurtured by a superpower house and grew up. In his opinion, as long as he walked out, he would be able to sweep away everything. The people outside were no match for him at all. But now, as soon as he walked out of Mount Eternal, he met a person who could contend with him. Moreover, the other party was also young, which really shocked him. "Who are you?" He stared at Lin Xian and asked coldly. Lin Xian said, "Who are you? What's the situation at Mount Eternal?" "Tell him in detail." The seventh emissary snorted coldly. "Who do you think you are?" "How dare you ask me?" Lin Xian laughed. "Then who do you think you are? You don't deserve to know my name?" Damn it! The seventh emissary was completely enraged. He waved his black saber again. He swung his saber again and turned into a black stream of light, descending from the sky. The terrifying power shook the sky. Lin Xian strode forward. In his hand, starlight condensed and turned into a starry divine sword. It danced forward. The starlight in the sky was incomparably vast. The two collided, shaking everyone's blood. At this moment, Lin Xian formed a seal with his palm. The phantom of a demon god appeared. A black seal enveloped heaven and earth. It slapped forward. With a loud bang, the black saber was hit, and it started shaking nonstop. The black-robed men behind also exclaimed, "Lord Emissary, be careful. This kid is very powerful." "Shut up, don't I know? Or are you looking down on me?" The seventh emissary shouted coldly. The people behind him were so scared that their scalps went numb. The emissary roared and attacked again. He was like a flickering light and a passing shadow. He charged out in an instant and arrived in front of Lin Xian in an instant. "Go to hell!" He slashed at the opponent with his saber and punched out at the same time. Lin Xian sneered. Sword Qi swept across and blocked the opponent's saber light. As for the opponent's fist, he also punched out. The golden fist illuminated heaven and earth. The seventh emissary was forced back, his blood boiling. What a strong physique. His face was full of shock. What's wrong with this person? Not only was his sword technique powerful, but his physique was also so terrifying. Damn it, are the people outside so powerful? Impossible. The news he received before was that they could sweep the world when they went out. One had to know that their Mount Eternal had been known as the Forbidden Land of Death for all these years. No one could enter, but there was a force inside. There was a supreme existence in Mount Eternal, and there was also a group of creatures under him. After these creatures went out, they could become the overlords of a region. Among these creatures, 10 people appeared and were divided into 10 emissaries. Each of them was an earth-shattering figure. The person in front of him was the seventh emissary. His strength was even more terrifying. Therefore, when he came out, he didn't put anyone in his eyes. But now, he was really shocked. The black-robed men behind him were also terrified. No one of the other party could kill him so easily. Even the seventh emissary seemed to be helpless against him. Seeing this scene, the black-robed men behind him also formed seals. At the same time, a few more figures rushed out from Mount Eternal. These were all extremely terrifying divine ancestors. Behind them, the Fire God Palace Master, the Temple Master of Longevity, and the others also attacked. They fought with the 3 new divine clans of Mount Eternal. For a moment, it shook heaven and earth. Chapter 5335. While Lin Xian was confronting the other party, Hulinglong said, "Lin Gongzi and Shangguan Shaoxian were taken away by them. You must save them." Lin Xian frowned. Shangguan Shaoxian was his junior sister in Wushuang City. How could she be taken away? Hulinglong said, "Shangguan came here to look for me." She did not expect to encounter such a situation. Hearing this, Lin Xian nodded. He turned his head and looked ahead. "Did you capture a girl called Shangguan Shaoxian? Hand her over. I can spare your lives." Kid, you think you can do that? How dare you threaten me? I'll kill you today. He attacked again. He held his saber with both hands and slashed it down. A terrifying saber light shot out in an instant. The power of the saber was even more terrifying than before. The black-robed man was furious. Although he did not know who Lin Xian was, he would not allow anyone stronger than him to exist. In fact, he was unlucky. With the strength of the seventh messenger, he could defeat everyone. His opponent was definitely at the level of the Double Crown champion. Unfortunately, Lin Xian was even more terrifying. He had even killed the Double Crown champion. Therefore, the seventh messenger was so depressed that he vomited blood. Lin Xian felt the saber light coming at him. His face turned cold, and he slashed out with his sword. The sword Qi carried the power of the great dragon sword soul. It was indestructible. It turned into a giant dragon, bearing its fangs and claws between heaven and earth. Boom! The sword finally shattered the saber light. At the same time, it continued forward. The dragon roared into the sky, shaking the entire area. The seventh messenger narrowed his eyes. What a powerful sword Qi! He quickly retreated. However, he was still hit by the sword. Half of his body turned into a bloody mist. He retreated with a pale face. His broken body healed instantly. There was a crack in the process. It was difficult to heal. This was the power of indestructible. However, the seventh messenger also carried the power of immortality. Therefore, the crack was finally repaired. However, it consumed too much of his energy. His face turned cold. There's something wrong with your sword technique. Lin Xian was also surprised. The power of Mount Eternal was too strange. It could even contend with the power of the great dragon sword soul. But so what? He could tell that he had the upper hand in this battle. That was why he said, "You're no match for me. Hand her over, or I'll send you to hell today." Lin Xian attacked again. He struck out with his palm, and an extremely terrifying yin-yang diagram appeared in the sky. They transformed into yin and yang gods. Their divine bottles were ice cold, and they carried a terrifying aura and terrifying energy as they charged forward. "Get lost!" The seventh emissary roared angrily. He raised his hand and unleashed two black mountains to resist the yin-yang god. At the same time, he gritted his teeth. "Kid, just you wait. I still have a mission to complete this time. The next time I see you, I won't let you off. Let's go." With that, he turned around and left. Did he want to leave? Lin Xian bellowed. Another sword flew out. The Azura sword skill complemented the Shadowless Heavens net movement skill to the extreme. In an instant, he arrived beside the seventh emissary and stabbed his sword towards the seventh emissary's head. The seventh emissary's scalp went numb. The space between his eyebrows had split open. The other party actually knew such a powerful assassination technique. In a panic, he raised his saber to block. With a clang, the saber was sent flying. He was also sent flying backward and vomited blood. Roar! His eyes were bloodshot as he let out a terrifying roar. Kill! He was really angry. However, at this moment, a cold snort came from Mount Eternal in the distance. Then, a huge black hand spanned millions of miles across the sky and instantly slapped towards Lin Xian. The place where Lin Xian was completely shattered. Countless people were shocked. They were all sent flying by the power. Lin Gongzi, Hua Linglong, and the others exclaimed. Behind them, Lin Xian appeared. He had a void beast beside him. Lin Xian's face was cold, but the people around him heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Gongzi, you're fine? That's great. Lin Xian looked ahead and saw the huge black hand that had disappeared. His expression was grave. This power was enough to threaten him. It was an extremely terrifying existence in the sage ancestor. How many living beings were there in Mount Eternal? With the appearance of the huge black hand, the sacred lords of Mount Eternal in the sky also returned. The Fire God Palace Master and the Eternal Life Temple Master returned one after another. Their expressions were extremely grave. These people are too terrifying. There are too many of them. We can't suppress them at all. Lin Xian's expression was also cold. Did they know where these people came from? Those people shook their heads. Lin Xian's expression was grave. It seemed that he could only ask the others. He asked the Yi family. After all, the Yi family was an emperor family. They definitely knew more than them. The Yi family's elders sent them news. Lin Gongzi was a supreme existence in Mount Eternal. He was a super terrifying existence. This time, living beings came out of Mount Eternal. They were probably here to participate in the dragon transformation battle. Lin Xian was also surprised after hearing this. Soon, he had a better understanding of the dragon transformation battle. It was a battle that happened once every 10,000 years. Countless giants and terrifying sacred lords would participate. Mount Eternal should have come for the battle of dragon transformation this time. As for Mount Eternal, the Yi family didn't mention the even more terrifying supreme existence. It seemed that they were afraid of something. Lin Xian was even more surprised. Even a great emperor family was terrified. Mount Eternal was really too mysterious. Mount Eternal was known as the Forbidden Land of Death. However, it wasn't the only forbidden land. Were there other living beings in the other forbidden lands of death? He realized that there were still many secrets in this world. Even now, he couldn't see through all of them. However, no matter what, he had to save Shangguan Shaoxian. If Shangguan Shaoxian was injured, Lin Xian would definitely not let Mount Eternal go. On the other side, Mount Eternal was a land of death. A group of people returned. The seventh emissary's expression was extremely cold. In the depths of Mount Eternal, people from the outside couldn't enter this place. However, there were countless palaces in this place. The seventh emissary walked into the black palaces and roared crazily. The others were standing there like statues. The seventh emissary gritted his teeth and said, "Was there a person called Shangguan Shaoxian among the people who were captured? Bring her here." Soon, the people below brought a woman over. Reporting to the seventh emissary, "She is Shangguan Shaoxian." The seventh emissary raised his head and looked ahead. What a beautiful woman! No wonder someone tried so hard to save her. Shangguan Shaoxian's expression changed when she heard this. Who came to save her? Wushuang City? Fu Hongye and the others? Or Senior Lin Xian? What about them? Were they suppressed? She didn't know any of this. "Don't worry. I won't kill you now because I want to keep you alive. When I meet that guy again, I will kill you in front of him. I will make you suffer." The seventh emissary revealed a hideous smile. Shangguan Shaoxian snorted. "Dream on. You will never be able to defeat my senior brother Lin. She is a young, supreme being. She is beyond your imagination." Chapter 53:36. Young Supreme Being, the seventh messenger, was furious. Who does he think he is? Does he deserve to be called a supreme being? He does not deserve to be called a supreme being. Only those of us from Mount Eternal deserve to be called a supreme being. As he spoke, he slapped Shangguan Shaoxian twice in the face. Shangguan Shaoxian's mouth was bleeding, but she gritted her teeth. "You are no match for senior brother Lin." The seventh messenger's face was cold. "Are you challenging me? Looks like I have to send you to hell in advance." A terrifying killing intent emerged from his body. Shangguan Shaoxian's face was filled with despair. "Am I going to die here?" However, at this moment, outside the main hall, a person flew in. "Report. The Grand Elder is calling for you. He said that there is something important for you to go over." The Grand Elder? The seventh messenger frowned. He looked at Shangguan Shaoxian and sneered. "You are lucky. Take her away." He waved his hand and took Shangguan Shaoxian away. At the same time, he flew into the distance. The Grand Elder must have summoned something extremely terrifying. In the deepest part of Mount Eternal, it was extremely dark. The aura of immortality was even more terrifying. There were dozens of figures standing around. Some of them were old men in black robes, and 9 of them were wearing armor. They looked extremely serious. Together with the 7th messenger, they were the 10 great messengers. At this moment, the messengers were looking forward respectfully. The same went for the elders. There was an old man at the front. It was the Grand Elder. He said respectfully, reporting to the Supreme Being, "Everyone is here." No one said anything, but a black stone tablet flew out of it. On the steel, there were many mysterious runes. At this moment, the runes enlarged in the wind, emitting black flames. They turned into runes and danced in the sky. Then they sank into the space between the eyebrows of the messengers. The messengers' faces changed, and they looked ferocious. The pain was so intense that their souls were torn apart. However, no one resisted. When the runes disappeared and the space between their eyebrows healed, all of them knelt on the ground and kowtowed. "Thank you, Supreme Being." They were extremely sincere. The black stone tablet slowly disappeared. The Grand Elder stood up and said, "Supreme Being has given us the immortality talisman. You must comprehend it well. It will not be long before you participate in the dragon transformation battle. This time, you must get first place and bring that thing back. Yes, Great Elder, don't worry. We definitely won't disappoint the sovereign." These people stood up, especially the 10 emissaries. They all clenched their fists. Their Mount Eternal had always been mysterious, and very few creatures came out. The others couldn't even enter. Now was the time for them to go out and display their strength. They wanted the world to feel fear. In the following period of time, these people began to move out. They walked out of Mount Eternal and didn't destroy those sections. Previously, they had suppressed the people from the surrounding sections. Firstly, it was to warn them about the Eternal Mountain region. They came out. Moreover, they also needed some slaves and battle servants, and they had enough people now. Next, they would carry out another plan, which was to fight. They wanted to rise in the starry sky in the shortest time possible and strike fear into everyone's hearts. Next, the remote antiquity families, great sects, top geniuses, and terrifying experts were all challenged. However, without exception, all of them were defeated. These black-robed figures were terrifying. Even if they were injured, they could recover quickly. It was as if they were undying existences. They were no match for him at all. The Wind Clan was defeated, the Stone Clan was defeated, the 9 Underworld sect was defeated, and the Golden Crow Clan was also defeated. In an instant, the world was in an uproar, and the news instantly spread throughout the buried Emperor's Star. Countless people were terrified. They now knew that there were experts coming out of Mount Eternal. Moreover, there were quite a few of them. Damn it. How was this possible? Who were these people? How could they live in Mount Eternal? Countless doubtful voices sounded, and they even felt that this was a dream. However, it really happened, and more experts were defeated. In the end, even the geniuses and elders of the Monarch clan began to be defeated. 3 months later, a voice came from Mount Eternal. Was there no one in the outside world who could fight? How disappointing. In that case, you are not qualified to participate in the dragon transformation battle. Damn it. How dare you look down on us? The people of the buried Emperor's Star were furious. In the starry sky of the universe, they were existences that could sweep through everything. On this planet, there were countless remote antiquity families and monarch clans who dared to look down on them. However, these people from Mount Eternal actually said that no one dared to fight. Damn it. However, Everyone was still in despair because these people from Mount Eternal were too terrifying. Moreover, they were decisive. Once they were defeated, it was very likely that they would die. Until now, no one had been able to contend against them. Some people even discovered that among the experts from Mount Eternal, there were a few who had the strength of a double-crowned king. What kind of concept was that? Everyone was in despair. They had gone too far. This time, the people from the Monarch clan couldn't stand it anymore. The Gu clan, Kuanpung clan, Qilin clan, and Yi clan began to discuss. They decided that they must accept the challenge. Otherwise, they would lose all their face. With the Monarch clans taking the lead, they joined forces with the remote antiquity families and the great sects to gather these people together for a martial arts exchange. It could be considered a warm-up match before the dragon transformation battle. After all, this matter was being watched by all the realms in the universe. If even the Monarch clans couldn't do it, then there was no hope for the others. A month later, the martial arts exchange began. The people from the Monarch clans also replied. For a moment, countless people were in an uproar as they prepared to go. The Monarch clans joining forces? So what? We aren't afraid of the Monarch clans at all. The people from Mount Eternal sneered. There were no more great emperors in the world now. Moreover, there were definitely people from the Monarch clans who knew about the situation of Mount Eternal. Therefore, they probably wouldn't dare to use extreme weapons. Without such a threat, Mount Eternal really wasn't afraid of the other people. The Great Elder looked into the distance and sneered. So, what if they're from the Monarch clans? The great emperors are long gone, but our human supremes still exist. The universe still belongs to us in the end. Children, go. Let them know the power of Mount Eternal. The corners of the 10 emissaries' mouths curled up. The Great Elder didn't worry. There was no suspense in this battle. We'll let them feel despair. We'll shatter their Tao hearts. Voices rang out one after another. The 7th emissary once again said that he would bring Shangguan Shaoxian along. If they didn't want the other party to die, they had to show themselves quickly. When these words came out, many people were surprised. Who was Shangguan Shaoxian? However, the expressions of the people from the divine union changed. Shangguan Shaoxian had indeed been taken away by the other party. Damn it. Lin Xian's face turned even colder when he heard this. Threatening him? He would let the other party know what regret was. Lin Xian also prepared to go. Chapter 53:37. The Origin magnetic immortal platforms also received the news. They sucked in a breath of cold air. Even Yao Guang was surprised. Someone from the Forbidden Lands of Death came out. This world was too unbelievable. Ninth Firmament Quasi-Emperor snorted. It was actually the Undying Mountain. He said to Yao Guang, "Didn't you always want to know where that place is? Are you talking about the Undying Mountain?" Yao Guang was also surprised. Ninth Firmament Quasi-Emperor nodded. It was just one of them. He didn't expect them to come out this time. Yao Guang was even more shocked. The 3 Undying Mountains were one of them. Could it be that there were also terrifying existences in the other Forbidden Lands of Death, but they hadn't appeared yet? Thinking of this possibility, it was even more shocked. Who exactly were the people in these Forbidden Lands of Death? Ninth Firmament Quasi-Emperor said. They were very terrifying people. Yao Guang was surprised. A Quasi-Emperor said that they were terrifying. How terrifying was that? Could it be a great emperor? He didn't dare to think further. Ninth Firmament Quasi-Emperor said, "You don't have to think too much. Just prepare in peace." The Undying Mountain must have come for the first place this time. A month's time quickly passed. Everyone rushed to the agreed place. It was an incomparably vast mountain range. It was like a huge dragon entrenched there. This place was neither far nor close to the Undying Mountain. It was a place agreed upon by both sides. At this moment, many people had already arrived on the mountain peaks of the mountain range. They were all waiting. They didn't know how exciting this battle would be. At this moment, flames appeared in the sky. Countless people looked up at the sky. It was as if 100,000 suns had descended. It was the Golden Crow clan. They all looked up. It was indeed the Golden Crow clan that had come. These people displayed powerful flames. After they arrived, they occupied this mountain range. The Golden Crow clan's faces were cold. They had been challenged by the undying mountain before. Moreover, a few geniuses were killed. Not only did it slap their faces, but it also caused them to suffer heavy losses. This time, they had a chance to retaliate. Yes, they would retaliate. In addition, the other ancient families and peerless sects also came. The Origin magnetic immortal platforms also came. They had extremely terrifying power. After they arrived, countless people looked up to them. Suddenly, someone exclaimed, "Look, that young man is standing beside the Origin magnetic palace master." Countless people looked over. In the next moment, their pupils shrank. Wasn't that Yao Guang? Why was he there? Could it be that he had joined forces with the Origin Magnetic Immortal Foundation? Cries of surprise rang out one after another. When it came to the light-shaking realm, no one dared to be careless. A person who cultivated the demonic, heaven-devouring art was a threat to everyone. For such a person, the Origin Magnetic Immortal Foundation should have stayed far away from him. Why are they standing together? Could it be that they had reached some kind of agreement? They didn't know. Some people went over to chat with him, trying to find out more about him. In the end, nothing was found. At this moment, there were countless black flames dancing in the distance, as if a black phoenix was descending from the sky. There were quite a few figures standing on it. They were all black-clothed people. They were either dressed in black robes or black armor. Their expressions were cold, and their bodies were filled with an inextinguishable fighting spirit. Song Tian was the spirit of Mount Eternal. "They're here." Countless cries of surprise rang out as pairs of eyes looked forward. They had heard of the creatures of Mount Eternal before, but this was the first time most of them had seen them. Lin Xian and the others had also arrived. At this moment, they were also looking up at the sky. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. The creatures of Mount Eternal walked out and looked in all directions. "Are you all here? We haven't seen you for tens of thousands of years, and you've already fallen to this extent? Even if you join forces, you won't be a match for us this time. If it weren't for some reason that we couldn't come out, this world would have been ours long ago." Arrogant words rang out, causing the people of the Great Earth family to frown. These people were too arrogant. However, in the next moment, their pupils shrank because they realized that the other party was indeed qualified to be arrogant. The creatures of Mount Eternal emitted an extremely terrifying aura that swept out in all directions. The surrounding people were shaken to the point of retreating, their blood boiling. An uproar rang out, and their faces were filled with horror. The people from Mount Eternal sneered. Among them, there was a man in armor standing at the front. The corners of his mouth curled up into a cold smile. Behind him, there was a woman in a long dress. That woman was naturally Shangguan Xiaoxian. At this moment, her face was pale because she couldn't resist the power of the people around her. She didn't know if Senior Brother Lin was here. Could he fight against these people? Beside her, a man in armor walked over. This man, he had a black warhammer on his back. He strode over and said coldly, "Who wants to fight me?" This was the 10th emissary of Mount Eternal. He was tall and strong. Seeing that it was a young man, some of the older sacred family leaders were too embarrassed to make a move. A young man walked out from the Yi family. He wasn't Yi Wudao, but he also had an extremely terrifying bloodline. The Yi family was a great emperor family, and Emperor Yi had left behind many ultimate techniques. Among them, there was one called the celestial body tempering art. Many people in the Yi family had cultivated this body tempering art. The man who walked out was called Yi Quebec. He had already cultivated the celestial body tempering art to a certain level, and his physique was extremely terrifying. "I'll fight you," Yi Ke stepped forward. And as he did, the mountains below and the sky above began to shake violently. The 10th emissary looked at him with a smile. "You can make the first move or you won't have a chance." "Okay, then I won't be polite. God, Yi Ke, please be serious." With a roar, he used the celestial body tempering art to the extreme. A phantom appeared around him, and then he punched out. Celestial body, immortal fist, boundless gang chi revolved around his fists, as if a merciless god had descended. This punch was so terrifying that it made countless people exclaim. As expected of a great emperor family, other than Yi Wudao, there were also some powerful experts. Boom. In the face of such a terrifying attack, the 10th emissary didn't move at all. He had no intention of escaping. He formed a seal with his palm, and a black mountain condensed. He threw it out, and an earth-shattering sound rang out. It collided with the celestial body, immortal fist. Terrifying laws spread out in all directions. At the same time, cracks appeared on the celestial body, immortal fist. Yi Ke roared angrily, "Block it for me." He used his bloodline and body tempering art to the extreme. The hammer on the 10th emissary's back flew over. The black warhammer swept through the air with vast power and directly sent Yi Ke flying. Boom! Yi Ke retreated and spat out blood. His body was shattered into pieces. His celestial body tempering art was broken. How could it be defeated? He was defeated in one move. Countless people were shocked. The Yi family members were also stunned. Chapter 53:38. The Yi family was well aware of how terrifying the celestial body tempering art was. Yi Ke had cultivated it to an extremely high level, so his physique was definitely incomparably strong. However, it had now been torn apart by a single blow. They couldn't believe it. The people around them were also shocked. The other emperor clans and sacred clans all frowned. This power was too strong. Why did it feel like it had surpassed the young giants? They knew how strong Mount Eternal was, but they felt that it would take at least a few hundred moves to determine the outcome. However, the outcome had now been decided in two simple moves. On the Divine Union's side, the Crimson Dragon was also shocked. Lin Xian also frowned. Was this the power of Mount Eternal? It was indeed powerful. On the other side, Yao Guang and the others were also frowning. Some of the emperors felt despair. What shocked them even more was that this person was wearing armor, and there were 9 others wearing the same armor as him. However, their weapons were different. In other words, the other 9 people were on par with the other party in terms of strength, or even stronger. How could such a terrifying expert appear in Mount Eternal? It was unbelievable. How had they been nurtured? What kind of existence was behind Mount Eternal? On the other hand, the people from Mount Eternal were very confident and calm. This battle was completely within their expectations. So, what if it was an emperor clan? The great emperor was long gone and had disappeared for tens of thousands of years. How could the remaining people be compared to them? By relying on the great emperor's ancient scriptures and some bloodlines. Their Mount Eternal had a human sovereign. If it weren't for some reasons, this world would have been theirs long ago. Even the great emperor clans couldn't contend with them. The current era was the legendary Great Emperor era. Some people even said that it was the legendary Great Immortal era. Therefore, in this era, Mount Eternal had come out. How was it? Were they confident? Someone from the Kuan Peng clan asked. Kuan Zi shook his head. Someone from the Fire Qilin cave also asked. Fire Qilin's expression was solemn. If it was just this person, I would be confident. However, it wouldn't be easy to defeat him, at least after 1,000 moves. However, there are 9 people behind him, so I'm not so confident. Sure enough, even the Double Crown champion said so. The others were even more desperate. At this moment, the 10th emissary at the front sneered. How disappointing. No one could fight. Were all the great emperor clans trash? I heard that there are a few emperors in this world. Who are they? Are they all cowards now? No one dared to come out. Countless people were in an uproar. The other party directly challenged an emperor clan and even challenged an emperor child. This was a direct slap to the face. Would the people from the emperor clans resist? They all looked at the princes. The Fire Qilin snorted coldly, but didn't attack. As the double champion, he had already proven his strength. Moreover, he was a cautious person and liked to play dirty, so he was not willing to take risks easily. The Dragon Prince was already dead, and the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty had long Wu. Although she was also very powerful, she was still not the double champion. Therefore, she was not confident. Kuan Zi's expression was extremely ugly. Damn it, they actually dared to underestimate him. He took a step forward and walked forward. However, the elders beside him said, Your Highness, you mustn't. In front. The 10th envoy looked over. Oh, you're the Emperor's son of the Kuan clan. Do you want to fight with me? No. Those elders shook their heads. The 10th emissary sneered. Even your family members don't think highly of you. I think you'd better scram back. Damn it. Kuan Zi gritted his teeth. He clenched his fists, and his body trembled with anger. He turned around and said to those elders, Let me attack. I'd rather die in battle. I don't want to live so sullenly. The elders of the Kuan clan didn't say anything else. They looked at Kuan Zi's back as he walked into the distance and took a deep breath. They knew that the emperor had his own pride. Previously, Kuan Zi was an existence that stood above the 9 heavens and stood above everything. However, later on, top geniuses appeared one after another. First, it was Lin Xian, then the Fire Qilin, Hun Tian, and Yao Guang. Now, the creatures of Mount Eternal had appeared. These people were too powerful. Kuan Zi had already fallen behind. If he was still afraid at this time, he would probably never be able to catch up. All we can do is believe in His Highness. The elders' eyes flickered. They knew that this battle was very dangerous. It was very likely that Kuan Zi would be defeated. However, this battle had to be fought. This was the sorrow of being an emperor. They had too many halos on them and were the focus of countless people. If they retreated at this time, they would probably never be able to raise their heads. Once they fought, the consequences would be very terrifying. At this time, the old Kuan of the Kuan clan said, the emperor's bloodline was his powerful foundation, his reliance, and also his shackles. It all depended on whether His Highness could break these shackles. In front, the 10th emissary saw Kuan Zi and said with a smile, You're quite brave. However, it's a pity that you're brave, but not smart. You're no match for me at all. You should attack first, otherwise you won't have a chance. It was the same arrogant words, but no one dared to be careless because the other party had easily defeated the heavenly spirit body tempering art last time. Kuan Zi also shouted angrily. His black hair danced wildly, and his eyes were like lightning. At this moment, he turned into an yin-yang light and flew in all directions. At this moment, he didn't hold back at all. He punched out, and on it there was the phantom of a Kuan The mighty power shook the world. What a terrifying emperor's bloodline! Countless people exclaimed. And the 10th emissary's eyes lit up. You have such a bloodline, but you're so weak. If you give me your bloodline, I'll definitely be 10 times stronger than you. Kill. With a roar, he also charged over. His fists seemed to have turned into a black mountain range, as heavy as a mountain. The two collided with each other, shattering everything. Kun Pengzi instantly vomited blood and flew out. He felt that the other party's fist was like Mount Eternal that could suppress everything. The inextinguishable fighting spirit on it made him feel terrified. Every move of the other party carried the power of Mount Eternal. This was the power of the forbidden land of death. Fortunately, he had the Emperor's bloodline and could resist some of it. Otherwise, he would end up like Ye Kei and be blasted into pieces with a single move. But even so, he was still suppressed. He vomited blood and flew out. He was injured again. Countless people exclaimed. Even the Emperor's son was going to be defeated in one move. No, Kun Pengzi hadn't been defeated yet. Look, he rushed over again. Everyone found that Kun Pengzi stopped retreating. He stomped his foot, shattering the world, and charged forward again. At this moment, Kun Pengzi transformed into a Kun Peng, and his body emitted an extremely terrifying yin-yang aura. It surrounded the world. This was Kun Pengzi's original body. It was too terrifying. The yin-yang aura descended, turning into yin-yang wings that slashed down from the sky like heavenly blades. The surrounding people retreated one after another. The 10th emissary roared angrily. He waved his black war hammer, and like thousands of mountain phantoms, he charged into the 9 heavens. Chapter 53:39. The two collided, and a terrifying aura rushed out in all directions, emitting a rumbling sound. After 10 moves in a row, Kun Peng spat out a mouthful of blood. Many of his bones were broken, and his entire body fell to the ground. Blood stained the sky. No, countless people were shocked. Had the emperor also been defeated? The elders of the Kun Peng clan clenched their fists, and their expressions became extremely ugly. However, they didn't save him. Although he had been defeated, the emperor had his own pride. If they were to make a move at this time, they would be trampling on his pride. What emperor? You're not my match at all. The 10th emissary sneered. On his body, an inextinguishable fighting intent condensed, as if thousands of bolts of lightning were streaking across the sky. Kun Pengzi's body was shattered, and blood stained the sky. However, he roared towards the sky, and once again emitted a shocking aura. Beside him, the power of yin and yang became extremely terrifying, and there was even an illusion of a black sea surrounding him. Although he was injured, he still charged out. He had overestimated himself. The 10th emissary sneered. He waved his warhammer, and lightning interweaved. Immediately, Kun Peng spat out blood and retreated. This time, his injuries were even more serious. Many bloody holes appeared on his body, and he fell from the sky again. Countless people cried when they saw this scene. They felt despair. Has Mount Eternal become so terrifying? His Highness, the elders of the Kun Peng clan, also cried out in pain. One of the old men sighed. Forget it, let's save His Highness. They could see that Kun Pengzi's situation was very bad. If they continued to fight, he might die. You're so weak that you're no match for me at all. The 10th emissary withdrew his weapon and stood in the void. It was obvious that he had no interest in fighting anymore. On the other side, a sea of blood surrounded them, and the aura of yin and yang descended. Countless people were in despair when they saw this. Even Lin Xian frowned. Has Kun Pengzi really been defeated? He also felt a trace of sadness. Kun Pengzi's huge body trembled, but his eyes were filled with confusion. I've lost again. There was even despair in his eyes. However, he soon roared. So, what if I've lost? who allowed me to lose. I'm not a god. Just because I've lost doesn't mean that I can't grow. Suddenly, an astonishing light burst out from his eyes. The bloodline in its body rumbled, and a terrifying yin and yang aura enveloped it. His body was changing. A pair of wings covered heaven and earth as he soared into the sky. In the northern underworld, there was a fish named Kuan. Its wings were like wings that hung down from the heavens. It could hit the water for 3,000 li and fly up for 90,000 li. A rumbling sound rang out, as if it was the voice of a deity. At this moment, Kuan Pengzi's power was exploding continuously. The yin and yang aura was so strong that it could split the sky and earth apart. The surrounding people were all stunned. His strength was actually increasing. What's going on? Wasn't he defeated? At this moment, Gu Feng, the Fire Qilin, and the others all cried out in surprise. The elders of the Kunpeng clan, on the other hand, were extremely excited. He had broken through. His Highness had made a breakthrough. Countless cries of surprise rang out. Lin Xian's eyes also shone brightly. This battle had actually helped his opponent achieve his goal. He nodded slightly. The people at Mount Eternal also frowned. Had he broken through? The 10th emissary's face turned cold. He wanted to attack. However, at this moment, the elders of the Kunpeng race could no longer bear it. They all soared into the sky. The terrifying yin and yang aura cut across the 9 heavens. The laws on their bodies filled the air, forming a sea of the northern underworld that swept across the sky. His Highness was breaking through. Who would dare to attack him? Angry shouts rang out one after another. The 10th emissary's face turned cold. The experts of Mount Eternal behind him also stopped him. At this moment, if they were to attack Kunpengzi, the Kunpeng race would probably use extreme weapons crazily. So, they didn't go, even if they had broken through. So what? One Kunpengzi wasn't enough to be feared. They had a bigger plan. The yin and yang aura filled the sky. Kunpengzi broke through and stood up. The aura on his body erupted. At this moment, he had finally become a double champion. The injuries on his body had also completely recovered. Kunpengzi transformed into his human form. His eyes flickered. It seems that I was too stubborn in the past. I walked on the wrong path. Now I know how to continue on. He looked at the 10th emissary and said, "Thank you for letting me become clear-headed and allowing me to comprehend my own path." The 10th emissary snorted coldly. Kunpengzi turned around and walked away. The people of the Kunpeng race followed. Looking at the group of people leaving, the others also exclaimed. It was really surprising that Kunpengzi could break through. Gu Feng and the others were envious, but the Fire Qilin's face was cold. Another emperor broke through and became a double champion? This wasn't good news for him. 10th emissary, come back. At this moment, the 9th emissary walked out. "Let me fight." The 10th emissary nodded and retreated. The 9th emissary looked around and said, "Who will fight with me?" For a moment, there was complete silence. The 10th emissary was already so powerful, let alone the 9th emissary. Who dared to fight? Seeing that no one attacked, the 9th emissary sneered. "A bunch of trash. But do you think you won't fight if you don't attack? I have the final say in this battle." I'm now in the late stage of the Great Sage realm, which is what you call a saint. I'll spare your lives if you're below the saint level, but for those above the saint level, you're qualified to be my opponent, so I can attack as I wish. Buzz. Speaking of this, a scythe appeared in his hand. Moreover, it was a 2-handed scythe. In an instant, he quickly charged towards the Golden Crow race. "It's you." He charged towards one of the saints. That saint roared angrily and wanted to dodge, but he was cut in half by the scythe. Next, he attacked again, attacking the wind race and the other ancient families. Every time, he could kill with a single slash. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 saints died. The others went crazy. How could they fight like this? Damn it, why don't we attack together and kill him? That's right, there are so many of us. And there are also the Emperor race. We must have brought extreme Dao weapons. Countless people roared crazily. However, those from the Emperor clan all frowned deeply. They had indeed brought extreme Dao weapons, just in case. But they didn't dare to take the initiative to attack because they knew that there was a human supreme in Mount Eternal. If they angered the other party, the consequences would be unimaginable. Seeing that the Emperor race members didn't attack, the others despaired. Could it be that they were going to let the other party continue fighting like this? Suddenly, an angry roar sounded, and a Qilin phantom swept across the world. Then, 10,000 flames swept out, blocking the scythe. It even forced the 9th emissary to retreat. Who was it? Did an expert appear? They all turned their heads to look. In the next moment, they cried out in surprise because they found that the one who attacked was Fire Qilin. It turned out that the 9th emissary attacked crazily and killed many experts. Then he came to the Fire Qilin cave and directly attacked the Fire Qilin. The Fire Qilin instantly counterattacked. Chapter 5340. The 9th emissary's blood and qi churned. His eyes shone with a shocking light as he stared ahead. So it was the prince of the Qilin race. No wonder he was so strong. Very good, you are worthy of being my opponent. However, you people are too cunning. Are you all trying to hide your strength? That's impossible. Today, I will find all your experts. He didn't attack the Fire Qilin. Instead, he attacked again. They also knew that these monarch races definitely had experts hiding. It was just that they were all like the Fire Qilin, unwilling to take the initiative to attack. Since that was the case, they would force them out. Next, they would attack again. The two weapons transformed into scythes of death. The surrounding people were no match for him at all. He is coming towards us. The people on the Origin magnetic immortal platform were incomparably nervous. Could they block him? Yao Guang stood with her hands behind her back. He said it was fine. I will block him. Indeed, not long after, the other party attacked, his scythe sweeping out. The experts on the Origin magnetic immortal platform all retreated. However, Yao Guang stood there. With a cold snort, he slapped out with his palm. It was like a millstone that could destroy the world, blocking the scythe. At the same time, a terrifying vortex appeared above his head. It was like a devouring beast that flew towards the 9th emissary. The 9th emissary was shocked and shouted angrily. He blocked with his scythe. At the same time, he looked ahead. Who are you? He wanted to see through the other party. However, in the next moment, his pupils constricted because he discovered an extremely shocking power in the other party's body. It was as if the other party could tear him to pieces in an instant. He quickly retreated, his expression cold. Good brat, you actually have such a secret. You are cultivating a forbidden martial art, right? You should be the legendary Yao Guang. He found the second expert. He felt that there were more, so he continued to attack. The other immortal platforms were terrified. For example, the Starfall Immortal Platform and 9-Star Immortal Platform. Their expressions turned ugly. Fortunately, at this moment, Lin Xian and the others were walking towards them. Your Highness, young master, the Starfall Immortal Platform's Palace Master and Madame Purple Star were overjoyed. Lin Xian was here. This meant that they were safe. The 9th emissary swept his way. Soon, he arrived near the Star Cloud Immortal Platform and 9-Star Immortal Platform. The scythe fell, enveloping everyone. Everyone exclaimed. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He stretched out his palm. and sent the sickle flying with a punch. The ninth emissary was shaken to the point where his blood and chi roiled and his arm went numb. He was once again astonished. Had a third expert appeared? However, do you think you can protect two Immortal Foundation experts by yourself? Aren't you a little too arrogant? Are you looking down on me? The ninth emissary sneered, as an extremely cold aura emanated from his body. Lin Xian said coldly, "You're not my match. Let the seventh emissary come." Hearing this, the others cried out in alarm. The ninth emissary was furious. "You dare look down on me?" The inextinguishable fighting spirit on his body became even more terrifying. The eyes of the seventh emissary in the distance emitted a cold glint. "You have finally appeared. I thought you wouldn't dare to come." He walked out and shouted coldly. The others were shocked. Even the Emperor clan's people were at a loss. What was going on? It seemed like the two of them knew each other. Shengguan Shaoxian also cried out in alarm. It was senior brother Lin. As expected, it was him. She saw hope. Lin Xian looked at the seventh emissary and said in a low voice, "I'm already here. Release my junior sister." "It's not that simple. You actually dare to oppose me. I'll let you know to spare." The seventh emissary waved his hand and grabbed Shengguan Shaoxian. Shengguan Shaoxian's face was pale, while Lin Xian's expression darkened. "You hurt her? I'll make you die without a burial ground." The toad jumped out and shouted coldly, "Pa, what Mount Eternal? Top-tier expert? You guys only know how to bully weak women. What kind of top-tier expert are you? If you have the ability, then fight with the double champion." "Damn toad, shut up." The seventh emissary snorted coldly. "I can spare his life, but it depends on whether you have the ability or not. If you can defeat Old Nine, I'll give you a chance." "Old Nine, are you all right?" the seventh emissary asked. The ninth emissary said, "Don't worry, seventh brother. Leave it to me. This brat dares to look down on me. I'll make him pay the price." "Brat, prepare to die." Killing intent emerged from his body. Lin Xian's face also darkened. Now that his junior sister was in the hands of the other party, he had to hold back. It seemed that he had to capture the ninth emissary in exchange for Shengguan Shaoxian. After all, these people had the strength of the double champion. Mount Eternal would definitely not allow these people to die. At this point, he also smiled. "All right, let's fight then." Lin Xian waved his hand. "Make your move, or you won't have a chance." "Damn brat. I should be the one saying that. But since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." The ninth emissary was indeed angry. As soon as they appeared, they suppressed the monarch race until they didn't dare to resist. Didn't they see that the fire Qilin didn't want to come out easily? But now, a brat jumped out and dared to look down on them. It was really detestable. No one could be arrogant in front of them, so he had to let the other party go to hell. With an angry roar, the dual sabers appeared in his hands and slashed forward like 1,000 waves. Was a battle about to break out? Countless people were shocked. This time, it was Lin Wudi who attacked. They didn't know how the battle was going. Although Lin Xian's strength had long been deeply rooted in the hearts of the people, this time he was a creature from Mount Eternal. The other party was too strong. Even the monarch race didn't dare to resist. One could imagine how terrifying these people were. So, in this battle, whether Lin Xian could win or not, they really didn't know. Facing the terrifying two-handed scythe, Lin Xian didn't retreat. Instead, he rushed forward. The demon god seal continued to bombard. The terrifying demonic chi was vast. The great seal collided with the dual sabers, emitting an earth-shaking sound. The surrounding people were so shocked that their blood was boiling. They all sealed their hearing. The ninth emissary's face darkened. Damn it, how could the other party be so powerful? For the first time, he felt shocked that this person could compete with him. No one of the other party dared to be so arrogant. The other party did have the right to be arrogant. But so what? Their Mount Eternal was definitely not something the other party could imagine. Thinking of this, he roared angrily and waved his scythe, turning it into an arc. A terrifying black statue appeared. It was like a god of death with a terrifying aura. The black statue took the scythe and slashed down, splitting the whole world. The power of this attack was even more terrifying than before. Even the pupils of the fire Qilin and the others shrank. Was this the power of Mount Eternal? It was really too terrifying. They were shocked. The others were even more shocked. Could Lin Wudy block it? After all, this was the power of Mount Eternal, the power of the Forbidden Land of Death. The people of the Divine Union, the 9-star Immortal Platform, and the Starfall Immortal Platform were even more nervous. In the face of such an attack, Lin Xian took a deep breath. He formed a seal with his palms. The Taiji diagram rotated in his hand and then flew forward. The power of Yin and Yang spread out again. You're tuning into the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.